There is an age-old question that comic book fans have been debating at least since I started reading, and I'm sure the debate has been raging for probably 20 years, even before that. So we're going back deep into the vault of questions that comic book readers have been asking themselves and raging about. Because today's a day for love, right? Today is a day for love, celebrating love. And the way we're going to do that, well, it's the way of the comics, pals. We're going to celebrate love today by having a fucking Valentine's Day massacre. There's going to be a debate. Tyler and I are teaming up. Tyler and I are teaming up. We're going to be the tag team we always knew we could be.
Pause.
We were challenged. We were challenged by two men. Two men who have decided to join us today to engage in a debate that I think you guys are going to love. Should Marvel Comics reboot? To have the conversation, we have the men behind the Bardic Versus, two of the men behind Summit Comics that has a Kickstarter going right now. We're going to talk more about that later. I want to call them chumps. Maybe you'll think they're champs. We'll let the debate speak for itself. Matt Sumo and Pete Collins, welcome, brothers.
Sean, you're starting off hot. Chumps already on Valentine's Day?
I said champs. I said champs.
Well, dropping a promo like usual, Sean. I love it.
Yeah, I like a good cut promo. I think you did a great job. But we're not here to play. Like, we're here to do business, and it's going to be a bloodbath.
To be fair, this is a topic that Sean didn't bring up. I believe Pete brought this up originally, right?
Yeah.
They might be prepared, Sean.
You know what, Tyler? That's okay. Because I don't have to get ready. I stay ready. And there is nothing that either one of them is going to be able to say that is going to convince me, you, or the audience that Marvel Comics needs to reboot. I'm not worried. But just in case this whole thing gets a little too fucking crazy, because I already know what I'm ready to do. I don't know what Tyler's ready for, and I'm not worried about what the other two are ready for. But just in case this gets a little crazy, we do have someone who's going to make sure that we all stay in line. We've got a referee, none other than Mr. Moderator Marco.
I'm here to keep the peace, make sure that everything is up to par, no low blows, unless I let it happen.
Look at Marco.
Unless he's giving them.
Yeah.
Wait now. Hey.
Marco, listen, dude, we talked about this. Where's your fucking referee shirt, man?
That is probably the stripiest thing he had.
That is the stripiest thing that I have. It is. It absolutely is.
Like I looked at it, I'm like, that was deliberate.
A 1980 sweater as his referee shirt.
That's right.
Genuinely, I would have approved use of the budget to get you a legitimate referee shirt because it would have been amazing. I want to see you in a fucking referee shirt. Now, I want to go over Marco should go over the rules because Marco's the moderator. Do you want to handle that, Marco, or should I?
Go for it, because then I'll dish out the questions and all that.
Okay, cool. So here are the rules. They're very simple and straightforward, and audience, it will to some degree involve you, so please do pay attention. Now, we will go through each question. The questions are user generated. You all submitted questions. I put the call out on Thursday, and you guys came through big time. We got a bunch of questions from you. So you guys created the questions. Marco will present them to us. We're going to have 3 minutes per team per question. Marco's going to decide who will start for each respective team, and we'll go head to head. We can tag. If it's me and Pete starting off, but I don't need 3 minutes to make my point, I'm a tagging Tyler. If I feel like Tyler's better at answering that particular question, I'm going to say, you know what? I'd rather Tyler go for this. I'm going to tag Tyler in. So we can do that. The team is responsible for how they manage their time. It's up to us. Marco's here to cut us off. The only way that we can get new questions added on to the question docket is through super chats. If you super chat and you want to add a question, that's the way to do it. That will also, if it triggers the GOAT game, if it adds to our total, it will trigger your ability to ask us a question here. I'll get the GOAT game goal up here right now, because we are still going to do that. That's it. That's it. Really simple. Any
Alright then.
questions?
Yeah, Sean, where's the mask I told you to put on?
Fuck, you know what, dude? I
Ugh.
left it off screen. Oh, you brought your mask. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Well, I always have it by here. I bet you my friend Kevin had no idea how much use I'd get out of this.
You stay ready.
Both of them. Well then, without further ado, get started with the first question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to present the question, and then I'm going to assign the team to tackle. So the first one here, from Hayden's Hideout. We've seen a rise in readership thanks to the absolute and ultimate lines not having any lore baggage and allowing new readers to have a real starting point. Do you think a complete reboot would capture that same audience? We'll start with the visiting team, Matsumo and P. Collins.
Which
Pete, can I take this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Let me just ask you. So we answer the question now.
We'll start the moment you say go.
Okay, so I'm ready. Yeah, I think there's something to be said about a fresh start, right? Look at the Ultimate Universes. Look at they mentioned Absolute. I think continuity does have its place, but I think it's hard for new readers to come into a universe and be mired by what happened in the past. They have to read so much content that happened prior. I think Stan Lee said, like, you should treat every comic like it's someone's first. I think you should treat the universe like it's someone's first, and don't let them be hampered by what came before. Give them a fresh start and all that stuff. I think the most important thing to note is that all that continuity has happened. It still exists. It's not going anywhere, but maybe don't, scare away new readers with, hundreds of issues of back matter that they need to catch up on.
you guys still have time. Pete,
Yeah, you got
can
2 full
tag it.
minutes.
Hot
Oh,
tag.
Pete, go ahead.
Hot tag. You also don't want to stifle creativity, right? By burdening creators with an 80-year continuity map that they have to align their vision into. And I think that's something that there is precedent of stories that have to reference back 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago to make an aspect stick from their story. And that isn't very enticing to new readers, right? So you don't want to overburden new readership by forcing them to be an expert in the thing that they're trying to find joy in. And I think that's one of the issues that Marvel in particular has time and time again, had trouble with. Even with their stories that go back and make adjustments to other stories from the past. Like look at Deadly Genesis from the X-Men, right? Professor X had an original X-Men before the X-Men or a side X-Men, but how does that play into the current stories at the time when that came out? And now you're kind of forcing people to have to read stories that harken back to an older time, and now there's gaps between whether or not something did or did not happen, and I think Marvel has a really high level of
30
failed
seconds.
retcons. So So yeah, so I think that's it. It's stifling. It's stifling.
All right, you guys got 15 seconds left.
All right,
Yield.
I'll end with this. A great man once said, "Let the past die. Kill it if you have to."
And there it is. Time. Thank you so much. Sean Tyler.
We'll pass it to one of us.
You know what? The guy with the mask. Tyler. Got your 3 minutes.
Oh, yo soy. No, I'm not gonna do this in Spanish.
Starting
Okay.
now.
Yeah. So Marvel, there is a complete reason why Marvel shouldn't reboot in this terms of like, yes, will it get a new audience like the Absolute and Ultimate lines? Probably it would help. Yeah, but you know what it would do? It would also kill out a lot of their established audience that where it's not a benefit at that point. We have precedent for this. New 52 happened 2011, 12, Sean, around there.
11.
And it did a lot of this. It was a jumping on point for a lot of people. This would, if Marvel were to do this, it'd be a jumping on point for a lot of people as well. But it was a jumping on point, off point for more people. And I think throughout the history of the New 52, which is the example I'm going to use here, it showed diminishing returns. And eventually DC went back on all that, continuity rebooting, which is probably what Marvel would have to do down the line. So I think that the precedent's already there and it didn't work out. So micro lines work, full on reboot, probably not so much.
I'm gonna tag in here because
Hold on, I was touching the rope.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, you can go. Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly with everything that Tyler said. And I want to add on to the fact that I think eventually you get back to the same place. Yeah, it'd be a real starting point now, but what about 5 years from now? What about 10 years from now? I think there's a lot of short-term thinking with this kind of thing. The absolute universe is not going to exist in perpetuity, and it's a separate universe than mainline. Those are massive differences. A real reboot like the New 52 would be a disaster. You ask if it will capture the same audience. I don't think it will, because it promises to become the exact same thing that the audiences who don't want to read that stuff in the first place already don't come to the table for. Maybe you'll get them in the initial hype wave, but once they realize that this story does not have an end, they're all leaving, and then you're back with the audience. You're back begging the audience that you abandoned to come back to you, and they won't.
40 seconds left.
I yield.
You can yield, yeah. There we
go. Okay. In that case, I put up a poll. You, the listener, get to decide.
Oh, poll.
Who convinced you best? Stop this timer as well. I'm just going to restate the question here. I put a small summary of it for you to choose between Team Matt and Pete, Team Sean and Tyler. We've seen a rise in readership thanks to Absolute and Ultimate lines, not having any lore baggage, and allowing new readers to have a starting point. Do you think a complete reboot would capture the same audience? Who convinced you best? We'll let that run for probably another minute or so.
Okay, then let's just not talk for a minute.
Let's try to do the polls every so often, as opposed to every question. But I am curious as to what you guys think about the opening salvo. I don't know, Matt and Pete. You'd have to come with a little more fire. I get up early to do this shit every single week. So does Tyler.
I woke up 10 minutes before I jumped on here, and I'm still ready, man.
Whoa,
okay.
ready.
I got 2 coffees and an energy drink. There's no stopping me on this. I'm coming off the top rope.
I love it. MJ Looney coming off the top rope, smashing us with a 5 spot. I love it. My neighbors are arguing loudly. They always do. Can't wait to turn for Sean to start yelling so I can turn my TV up to max in response. Hashtag Team Reboot. Hashtag what the fuck do you
Reboot?
mean?
Yeah,
there it is.
Sean, we got to remember, we got a DC audience here.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Marco, can you read that previous super chat, the first one?
I'm scrolling back up.
Wait, typical spider.
Typical spider. Let's get ready to rumble.
All right. Are we gonna get copyrighted for that now?
Yes, we're gonna get sued.
Well, Marco's fault.
He's
All right,
very
well.
litigious, by the way.
I know. Yeah.
I hope that cut out with the Zoom there.
Nope. It came through.
I chose to end the poll because it's very lopsided. So Marco, feel free.
Sure.
Wow. Team Sean and Tyler convinced you best. Well, 1 point to them.
What's the percentage, man? Come on, what the fuck?
Oh, no, we're not.
60.
Are we doing points? Is this a point system, or are we just gonna?
62 to 38. I'm keeping score. I like my numbers.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll get the crowd behind us.
All right.
That's it.
We're the scrappy underdogs.
The audience will have their say as far as who ultimately wins this debate later. We're in the early rounds. Things are far from over, but I got stamina.
I don't. I'm like 30 seconds. I'm done.
No. That's okay. You get the hot tag. I'm the one who
Oh, you're talking about this. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, what are you talking about? Okay,
Huh?
Marco, go ahead. Take over.
Well, Sean, let's see about that stamina because we got the next question. Quite the doozy from Kyle. What part of the continuity feels necessary to reboot? Short and simple. Sean?
So I am anti-reboot. Therefore, I don't think that any element of the continuity needs rebooted. I think that it would harm to reboot. I think just even the premise of your question exposes a problem. The idea that rebooting would be piecemeal, I think that would hurt things instead of help. I don't think continuity is a problem. I think continuity is a strength of big two mainstream comics. It's simply not for everyone, and that's okay. Everything doesn't have to be for everybody. So to me, I don't think there's a reason to that necessitates a reboot at all. I think Marvel does a good enough job of keeping things feeling level enough that you can find your way and navigate through pretty easily. And I'm going to tag in my partner to explain why. Go ahead.
Well, because they've already been doing this in kind of a microcosm. Like, they don't need to reboot anything when you can rehash things or reestablish things. Let's look at Imperial recently. Marvel Cosmic wasn't really a thing within the last 5 years or so. So what do? They come out with an event that refreshes that area and then spins off elements of that area into their own books. You got Nova, Black Panther, and Galactic, stuff like that. So they don't need to they don't need to pick what they reboot, because you can't really even reboot one thing because it's such an interconnected universe. You reboot one thing, it's like pulling out a Jenga piece. So that's why I think it's just about reestablishing and realigning things. I think of like the Inhumans during like when we couldn't talk about X-Men. For better or for worse, it did reestablish the Inhumans and kind of refresh them. So there's ways of doing it without having to need a whole reboot line wide.
Got another minute. Minute 15. Sean Tyler?
Yield.
I'm yielding. I got what I
Oh,
had to say out there.
Wow.
Dang. All right.
Ballsy. All right. I want to take this one to start off here, Matt.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So a reboot doesn't mean erasing everything from the past. You can be selective with that, right? And I think a good example of that is Crisis of Infinite Earths in 1985. Did DC really need to reboot at that time? Not really. They could have kept writing what they had built up in decades prior, but they decided that that was an opportune time for them to refresh characters, bring them back down to their level, right? Instead of Superman being as powerful as he had become throughout his history, take him down a step, allow for there to be reasonable threats and consequences in his story, right? Man of Steel by John Byrne. Did they need to do a soft reboot there? No, probably not, but they did. And from that gave us what we kind of have as far as Superman is now, right? A lot of what we read in Superman comics is based off of that foundation, not what was made or released in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s. It's legitimately from Byrne on in a lot of ways. So is the necessity when it comes to a reboot is really about refreshing your character, making them more accessible, taking that street level character like Spider-Man, who's been exposed to alien symbiotes, cosmic wars, fighting, deity level villains, and has been in every crossover that's ever been, and bringing him back down to that street level, making him what he was supposed to be, Matt?
I think there's number one, I think to answer the question, like you can't, to everyone's point here, you can't piecemeal a reboot. That doesn't, like, it should be all or nothing. But I think, to Pete's point, there's an opportunity to just tell different stories, right? And again, like I harken back to like not being mired by continuity, because that I feel like hurts more than it helps. And again, I love, as someone who loves callback humor, like I appreciate continuity, but I think it's harmful in storytelling, and I think it's ultimately a detriment.
Just got 30 seconds left.
I
Hot tag
yield.
back. Hot
Oh,
tag
no,
back.
Pete,
Hot
take
tag
it. Yes.
back. Right. Going back to Burns' Man of Steel, that erased all of the Superboy lore that was present beforehand. Right. So the Superboy portion of Clark's entire story was no longer part of his story, but it's still there. It's still accessible to readers that want to enjoy that. It becomes an offshoot, but it doesn't burden the mainstream reader. Now I'll yield.
And that's time. You know what? I want to add to this conversation with this super chat that we just got from Typical Spider. You brought up, Pete, the Spider-Man problem. I'm gonna let you continue. And Typical Spiders here is with and without a reboot, how do you fix the Spider-Man problem? The character feels stuck in limbo, like he can't grow, and it's resulting in bad stories. I'm gonna give you, and I'm gonna show it on screen. I got my phone here. A minute 30 on this one.
Okay,
What
just me.
the fuck?
You guys will respond. You guys will
Yeah, he'll give
respond.
us a chance to respond.
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
This is how
Okay,
the
there we
debate
go.
works.
Okay, I think the problem with Spider-Man isn't as much as he's coming in with a lot of history. It's that he's had a failed soft reboot previously, right? Like they didn't stick the landing with One More Day and Brand New Day. But from a business perspective, those did good numbers. Yeah, they were hot topics and controversially discussed between fans, but like you can't argue that Marvel made bank on Brand New Day. I think that in terms of fixing the problem moving forward, what do you think of when you think of Spider-Man? Do you think of a guy who's working for Norman Osborn? No, you probably think of somebody who's a photographer at the Daily Planet, who's a kid in college, right? And Ultimate Spider-Man showed that young Peter Parker is a more accessible Peter Parker. So I think that that's how you fix it. You take him back to basics. You bring him back to the status quo, and you can rebuild off of that again. You don't need to show him getting bit by the spider. We all know that that's part of his story. You could go back and change it if you wanted, but you don't have to. You can just build off of young kid Peter Parker living with his aunt and just start fresh from there.
All right. You guys will yield your time.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Yeah, we yield.
Hey, not on my show.
Tyler, I'll pass it over to you.
Oh!
You guys can decide. Here we go.
I want to give this Sean. Sean seemed hot on it.
Okay.
We're really having this debate, and we're up here talking about how much we know about comics, and my man Pete just said Daily Planet instead of Daily Bugle. Now, normally I would let something like that
all
slide,
right.
but we're
My bad.
really trying to do
My
this, and I just can't take someone seriously who doesn't know the difference between the Planet and the Bugle. I'm sorry. But that being said, look, how do you fix the Spider-Man problem? Listen, there is no fixing the Spider-Man problem. If you think there's a problem with Spider-Man storytelling, then that's what you think. I think Spider-Man is in a fine spot. I enjoy the stories with Spider-Man. And you know what's very strange to me? Pete's suggestion for how to fix the Spider-Man problem is to make the man a child again. The exact same thing that everybody rails against. Everyone says they want him married with children. This man just suggested making him a teenager in school. Is that what you want? I think that's the exact opposite of what people want. Go ahead, Tyler.
What Sean said.
We yield.
There it is.
I'm gonna. Can I do a quick run in here, Marco?
Let's do it.
Can I do a quick run in here?
You know what? I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
You know why
It's
I
like
said
celebrity
Daily?
deathmatch.
I'll allow it. I'll allow
Okay.
it.
You know why I said Daily Planet instead of Daily Bugle, Sean? Because I don't bother picking up Spider-Man because I don't want to be burdened with having to have read something from 1978 to understand a comic in 2026. Now I yield.
The Daily Bugle has been in fucking every Spider-Man comic ever printed.
Doesn't matter, man. I understand. I understand, and it was a slip of the tongue. But at the same time, like if I really cared about Spider-Man, I probably would have got it right. And I don't care about Spider-Man because I can't. It's not accessible to me. It's just not.
You're really winning over the audience with that one.
Dang,
Cardiac,
dang, there it
Cardiac
is.
Solus said Marco is an AEW referee.
He's the Bryce
Real.
Remsburg of the
For
comic
real.
house.
He doesn't see anything.
I don't understand that reference at all.
That's the
That's
beauty.
also the
Real
funniest thing
love
about this is that Marco is not a wrestling fan. So most of this entire premise makes no sense to him.
Straight over my head. All right, we'll jump into the next question. This one coming in from Sam. What is one positive part Marvel needs to take away and one lesson they need to learn from DC's New 52? So that is specifically getting at least one positive and one negative. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes and we'll start done with Tyler.
Okay. I pretty much already said this too, so I already kind of tackled this. But if there's one lesson Marvel can learn from DC's New 52, it's that it didn't work. In the grand scheme of things, it went right back to where they started and slowly got them to take things back from the past that were missing and find those lost pieces. I think the template is pretty clear. It's like, all right, sure, the immediate would work, and maybe that's the negative here, is that Marvel does tend to like an immediate bump, but that's all it was for DC, and it got a lot of people to drop off. And sure, there were some shining points, like Batman and stuff like that, but all in all, it was I don't want to say a black spot because there are some bright spots in the New 52, but altogether it was kind of a black spot that fans kind of rail against. So I don't know if it's something they should be learning good lessons from at all. Sean, you want to tag in on this?
Yeah, look, I think that I'm not going to deny that there were elements of the New 52 that were positive, and I think the only thing that they could look at and say, well, that was a good thing, is the fact that it gave them an opportunity to refresh these characters' identities and to make them a little bit more palatable to modern audiences. The downside, though, the thing that Marvel needs to look at and say, wait, that's a reason not to do it, is every fucking other part. Like, we know that it didn't work. We know that it alienated many of the people who were DC readers. Every jumping on point, kids, is also a jumping off point. And the last thing Marvel needs to be doing right now is giving you a jumping off point. They need to be thinking about how to bring people into the fold, not take them out.
A minute left, gentlemen.
I have no more words. I'm done.
No, yeah, that's. I'm succinct, so this doesn't work to my advantage.
But because we are both professionals, we know what we're doing.
We're
we make
French
the point.
now.
Sometimes.
Okay.
The pals yield their time, and now the gentleman from Summit, starting with Matt.
Gentlemen.
I mean, I think Tyler and Sean raised a lot of good points. I think I think the New 52 was a mess. I will say, obviously, Batman being the brightest spot in that, and I think that what speaks to my point on rebooting is that we got some fresh faces on Batman. We had Snyder, we had Capullo. Like, there's reasons for companies to do full reboots. I think New 52 was all over the road otherwise, but I think if you really tighten a lot of that stuff down, you tighten the books down, not every character needs a 12-issue series. I think there's something to be said about cohesive storytelling. That is the point I'm trying to make with why I think not only should Marvel reboot, but I think reboots should happen constantly.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And I'm glad you guys keep bringing up the New 52 because I want to point out just a little factoid here. Comics Pals issue or episode 412, everyone in the Pals agreed that the New 52 was a commercial success, right? And it sold 5 million copies in the first 6 weeks. From a business perspective, sure, it didn't last forever. Sure, it didn't stick the landing everywhere, but from a business perspective, it did numbers, and it got people talking. And what's that thing that since we're in the pro wrestling frame of mind that VKM always used to say?
Ooh.
Controversy equals cash, right? Like there's, you know, I think the new 52 certainly was a failed experiment in some ways, and it wasn't a perfect launch. They didn't stick the landing, but they still made a positive change across the board for everything that DC is still doing today, right? Scott Snyder wouldn't be doing Absolute Batman now if he didn't get his feet, you know, muddy with the new 52 Batman and the Court of the Owls and the Death in the Family and all that stuff. So I think that fed us Absolute Batman.
I need to make a fucking run in, please, Marco.
Hold on.
Please.
We'll give you
30 seconds.
Give me 30 seconds. Put this on the clock.
Okay, it's going to be so shorter than that. First of all, Vince McMahon didn't fucking say that. Eric Bischoff did. That's the second fact you've gotten wrong. And the third fact you've gotten wrong is that Scott Snyder was already writing Batman before the new 52 started.
I know
he didn't need that damn book to write Batman. I yield.
Damn, Sean.
Are you saying that Scott Snyder's new 52 Batman wasn't a successful story? Or
I mean, you're breaking your neck to try to put me in that situation. I'm saying what I said.
I'm just asking.
I'm saying what I said, and you said incorrect information. And we're going to call that out. We fact check on the Comics
Curious,
Pals.
though, Sean, curious that there is no mention to the reference that Pete made to a previous episode of the Comics Pals where you conceded that the new 52 was a commercial success. Curious.
It's again half a fact from Pete. Sure, I said it was a success on the outset. Listen to the rest of the episode.
Oh.
We did a whole deep dive series on that.
I know.
Loud noises.
Thank you for those loud noises, Tyler. That brings us to our next question. Chris Creative, I see your question, and I will address Uncle Sam here first. Very on-brand debating this Valentine's. Thank you so much for the 1-9 super chat. Chris, I'll get you your question right after this one. This one coming from Kazim. Instead of doing a reboot, should an effort be made to, from the onset, make new continuity that runs along the current one? Vastly different in tone, perhaps, more mature to cater to different demographics or aging ones. Similarly, create one for kids, perhaps. Basically, Ultimate Forever instead of rebooting it continuously. Matt?
I believe that if you're going to reboot, if you're going to have a separate continuity similar to Ultimate, that should be the main continuity. That should be the main universe. And then anything that takes place that needs previous baggage from continuity should take place at side stories elsewhere. Like fully commit to Ultimate, make that your main universe, make that the entry point for your readers. And then you could do your mini series or your one and dones on using previous continuity. Blow up your entire previous baggage and just have a new universe that constantly refreshes. Maybe like every year that we start over, and you could still have the stuff that takes place in previous continuities as smaller stories, but the main universe should be something that's constantly refreshing to again onboard new readers. I yield.
All right. The gentleman yield. That is 3 minutes, starting with Sean.
So, Kazim, I don't think that this, I mean, I think that's fine. I think if you want to do a separate universe that stands alongside it, sure. The reason why Absolute and Ultimate have been massive successes here now is because it's an alternative. It's because it's an alternative to whatever is mainstream at the moment. Going back to wrestling, AEW cannot be the main wrestling company. They can be the side one. They can be the palate cleanser to the clown show that is off in the WWE, and that's great. But it's not big enough to be on Front Street the way that WWE is. The main universe has legions of fans that span decades and decades and decades, and those are vital. That's the lifeblood of comics, and you can always try to onboard new readers and create on-ramps to make people excited about maybe an alternative universe. Yes, absolutely. But continuity matters. It is the spine of superhero Big Two comics, and if you pull that out, what happens to a human without a spine?
Goop. Turn into goop. Yeah, I'm gonna tag in on this one. So what you're describing, Cosm, is what is happening right now. You're describing essentially the absolute universe, and I think that is a fine thing to have, but it doesn't mean a reboot. It like the idea of the absolute universe works because of the whole all-in initiative. The All-In initiative added fresh creators to an already established continuity at DC. Meanwhile, also fresh creators on a side venture that was this new jumping on point in new universe. Marvel could easily do that. I think they sort of did that with the Ultimate line. I think there were some creative mishaps there, and definitely some behind the scenes tomfoolery going on there that caused some issues. But I think this is probably the way you want to go about things without having to do a reboot. Having your cake and eating it too. And I actually expect Marvel to do something similar to this in the future.
45. Y'all yield?
Sean, you got something there? Or are you good?
No,
Right,
I actually was going to ask an out of character question. Guys, can you see the GOAT game counter? Because I can't.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
6 out of 10.
We're
right
6
now.
out of 10. Yeah.
All right, beautiful.
This one's tackling Chris's question here. Lazy readers shouldn't decide the direction of comics. How do I pick up X-Men at issue 206 and pick up the story with no problems? Does a reboot solve this? I'll start with Sean there. Yeah.
So I agree completely with Chris. Chris's point is fantastic. How did I pick up X-Men at issue 206 and pick up the story and had no problems? He's exactly right. Everybody here, for the most part, if you started reading comics several years ago, you probably started in terms of single issues with a random issue that was deep set in some element of continuity, and you navigated. I started with Amazing Spider-Man issue something in the hundreds, and I'm here today with you guys. That is not a barrier. That should be a point of excitement for you.
Yeah, my
first stuff you don't know.
My first issue that I remember picking up at the shop was
hold on. I gave 30 seconds. Hold on.
Sorry,
That's-
okay.
That's all you
it's my
got.
fault.
That's all you got.
All right. Well, hi, chat.
Pete, do you have a rebuttal there?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't think that necessarily that a reboot makes for a perfect scenario in all applications, right? It depends very much on the plan and how it's handled. I think that a reboot gives an opportunity for people to connect with something that they may struggle to connect with, right? Not everybody can go back and read a comic from 20 years ago or an arc from 20 years ago. Not everybody has those funds, right? And starting from a new, fresh point allows for new eyes, new readership.
Oh, right the money, Pete. Thank you guys so much. I'm noticing in my refereeing, I'm not addressing the tag-ins. Guys, I'm going to need you guys to tap the rope, please.
Okay,
That's on me. That's on me.
I like that.
That's on me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then I'm going to get these 2 super chats before we jump back into the questions. Atomic Hound, the 99. Thank you so much. Based on current output, Marvel needs an enema, not a reboot. Spin the wheel and happy Valentine's Day, pals. Matt and Pete, sincerely, Mrs. Hound.
You guys ever like out of character? You guys ever look into those coffee enemas that people are doing?
Why would I look
Tyler,
into that? What the fuck?
It's like a they like shoot coffee up in there and like it cleans and then it comes out, and apparently it's supposed to be good for you, but people get addicted to it. So
I like
Tyler?
to drink my coffee. I don't want to boof it.
decaf, please. I'll have decaf.
Sounds like a revelation there, Tyler.
Well, didn't spin the wheel for that one.
All right. Flo Dameron with the 989 says, who needs a reboot when you have relaunches? I'm about to get my 3rd PKJ Hulk #1. I love it. There it
I
is.
sense sarcasm there, Flo.
Oh, MP with the 10. I'll get to you right after we jump back into these set of questions. This one coming from Steve, who says, "Is a reboot a slap in the face of Stan, Jack, and Steve Ditko, and should that be a consideration?" Oh, Matt, you look like you got something there. Here, let's start you 1 second. There you go.
Absolutely not. I mean, again, Stan the Man said it himself. You should treat every comic like it's someone's first. So we should treat the universe like it's someone's first. Give people the opportunity to have a fresh story and not worry about the continuity. Um, it's just that's what comics is. It's all cyclical. All this stuff still exists when the universe reboots. Like your previous books don't magically disappear. Comics are cyclical, and they should be cyclical. And the best way to do this is just to have a constantly refreshing universe. That's it. That's my time. I yield. Pete, if you want to tag in, you can.
You know, I'm not a big sports guy, but I grew up in a household where my dad was a Yankees fan, right? And for a while I watched baseball, but my Yankees team was not my dad's Yankees team, right? Two totally different times, different groups of people, different vibes, still both like the Yankees, right? So like taking that parallel over to comics, you can still be a fan of Spider-Man stories from the 70s or 80s and also jump into something new and fresh that's a completely different spin. That my Spider-Man is not my dad's Spider-Man.
Yo, yield.
I yield.
All right. Reset the timer there. Tyler, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'll go first. Because I think this is actually something we can agree on. I don't think it matters. I think any creation, whether it's a reboot or not, doesn't necessarily, especially in this wide world that is continuity superhero comics, it doesn't matter what the original creators think. I think when the original creators created these things, they knew other people would be tackling it down the line. So whether it's a reboot or just a reimagining, you know, I'm sure the even in a smaller scope, the creator of Miss Marvel didn't know she would be a mutant down the line, you know? But it happens. So I don't think the opinions of some white dudes from, 50 years ago matter in any sense to the comics. Sean, I'm gonna tag you in.
Thank you for doing that. Oh, that was beautiful. Because Pete said something that I want to tug on. So Pete said that Stan Lee talked about how every comic could be someone's first comic. Matt said that.
Matt.
Okay,
you're tugging
boom.
Matt, not me.
So we're gonna go head to head right now because, yeah, Stan Lee said that, but you're also talking about the man who is essentially the progenitor of everything that we're talking about today on the Marvel side. So I would say, and again, since Stan Lee was around up until not just a few years ago, he saw all of his works unfold and the massive shared universe in Marvel. And guess what? He was overjoyed. So I believe that Stan Lee loves all this stuff and he co-signs it because he was the man running the joint. He loves
Margo,
it.
can I run in to
You got it, you
respond to Sean's combativeness? Also, just really out of character. Don't start the timer yet. Out of character. We realize that we are walking into a Punk in Chicago, Brett in Calgary situation. I just want to put that out for the record. We do appreciate it, but it's tough. It's an uphill climb. Anyway, Marco, go ahead.
I'm gonna give you 45 seconds for that one.
Why did he get to get sympathy from the audience off time?
Whoa, hold on, Marco.
Hold on.
What the hell was that?
Hold on.
We're just allowing this now? Off time, he's gonna beg sympathy?
Listen, whatever it takes to win, Sean.
You hear this?
I don't know what these references are.
I think it's good TV.
I think it's convenient, Sean, that you're forgetting that included in Marvel's history is multiple Ultimate Universes, which, those could be considered reboots, and those were very successful. So I think there's something to say about Stan Lee's approval of, what goes on in the Marvel universe that has to include rebooting universes.
The first Ultimate Universe is an offshoot. The second one is too.
Hold on,
and
hold
Stan...
on. The gentleman's time hasn't ended. Hold on.
Oh, I yield. Go ahead,
Oh,
Sean.
there you go. Go for it.
Stan Lee was not alive for the second Ultimate Universe, so we cannot say what he thinks about that. But he was there for the first one, and he loved it.
They made money, so he probably would have liked it.
He loved it. Yeah, as he should, because it didn't hurt the precious main line.
Because the continuity was still there. No reboot needed.
Exactly.
I'm going to get to MP's question here, $10 super chat. What would a 616 reboot look like? Would it be a DC post-crisis / New 52, where some history is erased, some is kept, and some modified? Or would it be sort of like Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man? Tyler, I'm going to have you start on this one.
Oh, it's a great question. Go ahead. Let me know.
Sorry. I'm going to give you guys a minute 30 on this one.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, I could give you 10 seconds because the answer is it doesn't need a reboot. So it doesn't look like anything. I think if anything, like what Ultimate Spider-Man is, the fact that you would even bring up Ultimate Spider-Man MP is a great example because that worked, and that's fine because mainline Spider-Man still existed. Sean was reading, and I'm going to use you as an example here, Sean, as my teammate. You were reading Ultimate Spider-Man. You loved it when it was out. Nice young Peter Parker being a kid and learning how to be Spider-Man. You know what you were also reading? JMS's Spider-Man at the same time, which had a different taste of Spider-Man as a teacher, a grown adult teacher, doing grown adult things and having his hot wife be mad at him for most of the book. So like you could have your cake and eat it too. Marvel has shown this. And they could just recreate that in any other way they wanted to, just by creating ultimate lines or side lines that can kind of mimic the benefits of a reboot without the negatives of actually having to do a reboot. Sean, I'm going to tag you in here.
I don't have anything to add. That was perfect.
Is the sound effect not enough, Marcos?
Okay. I'll grant you. Okay. In that case, the gentlemen have yielded. I'm going to give Pete a minute 30, starting with you.
I'm always going to go back to Crisis of Infinite Earths for a reference point here. Always, right? It aligned characters from different places that had kind of reached almost like an apex in either their power level or at the time maybe culminated at a point in their story where you couldn't really easily send them off to other readers or in different directions. And I think what Crisis did really well was that it did some cherry picking. It removed portions of the story that happened beforehand. It kept the stuff that worked. It realigned and honed things that were generally known or acceptable to the general population, comic readers or not, like Superman's origin and all that. But it got rid of the heaviness behind it, right? Superman is a good example. Let's get rid of the insane power level that he's got. Let's put him in a place where, threats feel like they're potential threats. We can write more stories around him. We'll get rid of the Superboy baggage, but his story is ultimately the same. He still crashed in the Kent's field. All of that is unchanged. So I think doing a reboot with that cherry picking philosophy does make sense. Keep what works, lighten the baggage in other places. And Marvel's done enough soft reboots where they've already done that, right? Brand New Day is a good example.
Nope, there it is. You know what? In sort of a similar vein to that, I'm gonna jump back into the questions here. This one coming from JetX. Do you think that if Marvel rebooted, any characters would partially retain their history, like Batman and Green Lantern and New 52? Who would be most likely in your eyes? And I want to add to this one, I think, to distinguish for the gentlemen who are arguing here for no reboot, who would be most detrimented by a reboot? What character would be most affected? And then Pete and Matt, what character would most benefit from a reboot? So I kind of want to frame it that way. Sean, I'll start with you.
Great. So I think that it would be very difficult, if not impossible, for Marvel to reboot and not retain elements of what works, because DC did the same thing. They weren't willing to let Batman and Green Lantern go. So the answer as far as who I think will retain elements of their history is Spider-Man. Of course they're going to retain elements of Spider-Man's history. There's too much on the line and at stake for them to just completely erase every element of Spider-Man's life. And you know what? Spider-Man is probably the lightning rod for this conversation. So if Marvel's unwilling to set the clock back fully and make Peter Parker a teenager again and get rid of all his history, if they're not willing to do that, then that's not a full commitment to a reboot. And I have zero confidence that Marvel would be willing to commit on that level. I'm going to tag in Tyler.
Yeah, this just shows the cowardice of the New 52 reboot. That they couldn't even fully reboot things. They said, well, we still like the in-continuity stuff that is happening with Batman or Green Lantern. So they needed to keep it. The fact that this is even a question shows that reboots don't work. If I can't even do a full reboot and I have to just do what I think would need a refresh at once, let me do that. Then you could probably even argue the New 52 wasn't even a full reboot. Wait, was that okay? I don't have a high five sound, but I have a tag in. Go ahead.
Tag, yeah. Not only are you completely right that the reboot of the New 52 was absolutely half-assed, it didn't do what it set out to do with its top characters. It didn't help make Superman more accessible. It made Superman less accessible because that shit was confusing, and I know you guys can't argue with me on that. And Batman was a 25-year-old with 57,000 Robins in his past and a 9-year-old child. When the fuck did he suit up? He was a teenage Batman?
Problematic.
Explain it to me.
Problematic. He got his young boys.
Oh,
We yielding last few seconds. All right. Pete, I'll pass to you.
I forgot the question because Sean got all hyped up there.
I'll restate it. Do you think that if Marvel rebooted, any characters would partially retain their history, like Batman and Green Lantern in New 52? Who would be most likely in your eyes? And then I added, if it helps, what character would most likely benefit from a reboot?
Spider-Man. Just Spider-Man. Mostly Spider-Man. Right? I feel right, like those of us that have read Spider-Man know the impact of Gwen Stacy's death, right? But when did that happen? That was in the 70s, correct? So how does that emotionally resonate with today's readers when it comes up? And it often comes up in Spider-Man stories today. So what's the impact there? Right? Like I think rebooting him to a point where you could bring characters in like a Gwen Stacy and put a new spin on it, refreshing that relationship. If she dies again, have it mean something different, have it mean something more, have Spider-Man move in a different trajectory from that. I think Spider-Man would benefit most from a reboot. Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, we've proven this with the two Ultimate Spider-Mans. Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man and Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man are two wildly different takes on Spider-Man, but there's still a lot of the same themes there, but they're just two creators doing what they do. And I think that's my stance on reboots is like, as a creator, I think it's something I want to see. I want to see people's new stories. I want to see more of this. Not like once every couple of years we get like a couple of issues of an ultimate book or an absolute book, and then it goes away. I want to see this all the time. I think it's a nice refresh for readers. It's a nice refresh for creators. We're talking about also bringing in like just new talent, new artists, new writers, like just constantly having a rotation of people coming and going, telling their stories. And again, the old stories still exist; they don't go away, but it's just more opportunities to do that. And I think again, Spider-Man is the rule, because Spider-Man is the one that has been the most successful from having rebooted multiple times.
Can I run in?
Yeah. Let me set you up with that 30 seconds real quick. All right, you go for it.
This is what Matt just tried to say is false. Of course, Spider-Man is the most successful. He's the most successful character. You cannot look at his success in the Ultimate line in a vacuum. He stands above the pack because he is Spider-Man. And by the way, just for point of fact, once again, fact-checking Sean, Ultimate Spider-Man was not the best-selling Ultimate comic in the original Ultimate line. It actually floundered for most of its run. Ultimate X-Men was the most successful.
Right there,
And
right there.
That's
Thank you.
unfortunate. Jeez.
Thank you.
Ultimate X-Men.
Matt, running in.
How many issues of Ultimate Spider-Man were there, Sean?
There were over 100.
And what character, what popular character spun out of Ultimate Spider-Man?
Miles Morales. That doesn't
Also,
validate a
furthermore,
reboot.
hold on. Furthermore, let's step over to DC. Absolute Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman a best-selling book for DC?
Absolute Wonder Woman is, yeah, of course.
Okay, but what about regular Wonder Woman?
Regular Wonder Woman is not.
Interesting. So that proves that maybe rebooting a character is a good move.
Ooh, right there, right there.
Okay.
We'll end it there. We'll end it there. All right, I'm gonna go to this next question, and I'm gonna share it as well in the chat moving forward, just for ease, and then I will get to Common Sense's super chat from Isaac. If there's anything that can make a Marvel reboot worthwhile, what would that be for you? And I'm gonna start here with you, Matt.
Say the
You're on mute.
question one more time, Marker.
Yeah. If there's anything that you could make a Marvel reboot worthwhile, what would that be for you?
Ooh. If I were to reboot anything right now, this is going to be a hot take. So
Do
I'd
it,
open
Matt.
up your window, get some air
Fucking
in
do
there.
it.
I would reboot the X-Men. Let's start over. You want to talk about something that's mired in insane continuity? It's the X-Men. Start it all over, burn it all to the ground. Let's do a whole refresh. Let's get some new blood in there. Let's shake it up. That's something that I think right off the bat we need something brand new. Give me a new X-Men. I yield. Pete?
X-Men's already had a bunch of soft reboots in essence, right? The Krakoa era was in essence a soft reboot because it went all the way back and set a precedent before the history of the X-Men that retained all of that continuity, but put different spins on things, right? And it launched them off into a completely different direction, right? Like it was more about like the mutant community, their society, all of that. All the other stuff still happened, but it rebooted the franchise in essence to have a completely different focus. I think that you could say even Morrison's X-Men to a degree tried to do something similar. It wasn't just a change of direction. There were very large aspects of their continuity that were being changed and shuffled constantly. And their timeline is easily the most messy, right? Because there's all the time travel, there's alternate dimensions, there's different realities. This person's brother, this person's in love with this person. No, they're not. They're in love with this. Streamline it, right? Take it back to something that's more digestible, like the X-Men 97 cartoon kind of stuff. Yeah, X-Men's a good one.
You had your time.
I got 30 seconds. I'm going to throw it out there, just a jab. Sean and Tyler will have all of you listeners think that continuity really matters and that it's an important aspect of enjoying comics. But I would note that Killing Joke, Dark Knight Returns, none of that has any continuity leading up to it. And those are, there's plenty of examples of books that don't need continuity to be great.
Okay, can I retort?
Hold on. All right, let me. We'll do a run in, and then we'll get back into the question. So Tyler, I'll pass it to you. I'll give you here 35 seconds.
Cool. So I actually appreciate you, Pete, because you mentioned Dark Knight Returns and The Killing Joke, right? That's not a reboot.
No,
they have
you're
those
right.
stories. Marvel can just do those
You're
whenever
right.
they want without having to do a reboot. I think that just
Yep.
it's more proof that you don't need a reboot to have good stories. You can just tell them, get creatives in a book, and just tell the damn story. Also, in terms of X-Men, the only way I can see the X-Men getting a full-on reboot, make Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey a poly. There we go.
I agree with that.
I don't co-sign that. My partner's off the rails.
Can I run you really quick, Marco? I want to
Yeah.
Control this, Marco. What are we doing here?
You got it.
What?
Go for it.
Hold on. I just want to make a quick point about Dark Knight Returns. Oh my God, how did you get
How long this sound effect is? So long.
Yeah, that thing is impossibly long. I just want to make a point about Dark Knight Returns. I think my stance ultimately is that I feel like, the in continuity stuff should be one and dones, and then we should get any kind of reboot as the main line. That is my stance on all of this. So I think we can have both, but I think the refresh, the rebooted aspects should be the main line, and then anything in continuity should be, your one and dones. That's it.
All right, I'm gonna pass back to the main question there to Sean, starting with Sean. 3 minutes on the clock. Go for it.
What's the question?
Hold on. Let me restate. If there's anything that could make a Marvel reboot worthwhile, what would that be for you? In this case, what would be the worst thing possible for you?
Yeah, so the worst thing possible would be the fact that it would invalidate all the stories that we've enjoyed. It keeps being brought up over and over again. The story still exists. If the story still exists and we're willing to stand on that logic, then why can't we tell new readers to go start with whatever starting point makes sense? Krakoa was brought up as a justification to reboot the X-Men. Krakoa stands on the shoulders of continuity. Krakoa does not function without continuity. The same fact is true for stories like The Killing Joke and The Dark Knight Returns. They don't exist without continuity. They need continuity. They rise above it, not because they exist independent of it, but because of the quality of the storytelling. That's the only reason we talk about those books. It's the best part about them, that they are good stories. Krakoa needs everything that happened before in the X-Men's line in order to function. It doesn't make sense without it. How do you do the Moira twist in a reboot? How do you make that matter? If Moira isn't a character that has existed for 30 years prior, her being a mutant is irrelevant to a modern audience. The reason why Krakoa worked is because it presents itself like flat ground, but it uses everything that continuity nerds, loyalists to comics, know and love. But it also works for a newer reader because the creators involved were talented enough to make it so that you could understand the essential points and disregard or seek out what you don't know, which is what comics are.
I'll tag in there at the end there. Hold on. Because I think there is archaeology that's fun with comics that you lose with this. I think if you have a reboot and everything's a jumping on point, sure, there's benefits to that. But like the whole thing with like Moira and Krakoa and that being a great story at its onset is that like I wasn't familiar with a lot of the Moira story. People in chat saying like some of the older art doesn't hold up for new readers. They don't have to even read it. That's the thing. You don't need to go back and read everything. It can still exist and influence the modern comics without it needing to be homework for you. It's homework for the writers and creatives. Sure, that's part of the job. It does need to be for you. You don't need to read that and to still enjoy it. I yield.
30 seconds. All right.
Ref, can I just make one creative point about something that Sean said, if you don't
Marco,
yeah.
please.
Let's give you
Marco, what are we doing?
Let's give you 50 seconds. Let's give you
It's going to be quicker than that.
He'll ref.
I think to Sean's point about the continuity and a twist, that if you need continuity to make a good twist, you're a bad writer. You should be able to do that with or without continuity. That is my point. Thank you.
I want to springboard off of that I'm going to do a moonsault off of Matt's shoulders here and just say, Sean's point, totally valid. You're right. Krakoa does honor what came before it. Krakoa does honor the continuity, but it's not bogged down by it. So it is in essence a reboot that holds the past continuity in high regard. That's really all it is. So
Right at the end there. I'll cut it there. I'll cut it there. Thank you, folks. We'll get into some of the super chats because I have been seeing quite a few come through. First one from Common Sense. Controversy equals cash? Marvel killed off Kamala and made her a mutant. They made MJ into Venom and more. So why Marvel not making bank?
You kept saying killing off Kamala during a debate. Jeez.
Yeah. I was like, wait.
Wait, which one? Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Campaign, definitely. I also like why Marvel is not making.
I love that shit.
And here's
Why
the thing.
indeed?
Your common sense, love you. Marvel is making bank. I'm sorry. Oh, this is a full-on question, Marco.
Yeah, that's a question for you, Tyler.
I thought there was just. I mean, you don't need to give me all this time for it. Marvel is making money. They're still the leader in sales, and that's what matters to Marvel. So even if you don't like some of the creative decisions Marvel's doing, that is continuity. It's working for them. So sorry. That's being a fan, unfortunately.
We got Electric's super chat here, 50 SEK. Wide line reboot should probably include creatives, editors too, not just characters. Otherwise, it's only half rebooted. It's an interesting take.
yeah, no, that's spot on, right? Because you got that's the type of structural change that opens the door to other creators to come in, right? Like people that wouldn't normally be considered for a mainstream title because of a particular art direction or something. I think that's the biggest benefit from a creative level is that it allows new blood in.
Can I retort, Marco?
Yeah, go for it.
I hate to see my opponents be anti-worker, wanting to lay off all the editors for a whole reboot. Wow.
I didn't say lay off. I said I was implying a restructuring.
Reboot. Well, that's what the corporate would say to them too when they got their last
Look at
paycheck.
that. Look at the bootlicker using corporate lingo now. Okay. Restructure.
I said restructure. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting language. Now, I want to jump out of character and say thank you to everybody who's here with us. Over 140 of you. This is incredible. Smash that like button. We already crossed the GOAT game goal, but that does not mean we stop with the super chats. You want your questions added to this debate, get them on in. Matt Sumo, Pete Collins, amazing creators, Bardic versus Summit Comics. There's a Kickstarter going on right now. Click the link in the description. I'll share it in the chat when I'm not yapping, so you guys have easy access. We're going to talk to these brothers after the debate about the Kickstarter and what we can expect. I'm excited for that. Now let's get back into the proceedings.
Thank you so much. Another one from Common Sense here. How a reboot help other heroes, New Warriors, Initiative, and OG Avenger Academy students, because there are heroes that are not Spider-Man, X-Men, or the Hulk. That's a good point. Pete, go ahead.
I want that one. So, earlier it was called out that the New 52 didn't particularly do any justice for Superman, and that there was some convoluted aspects of Batman that were involved, and that's not entirely false, right? That's more in how it was handled, I think, than how it could have been handled. But it was successful, I think, in New 52, putting a spotlight on characters that at the time didn't really have a spotlight. Swamp Thing. Okay. Swamp Thing in the New 52 got a new life. He got new readers. There was a resurgence in interest in that character. Okay. To a lesser degree, there were other characters that were tried that wouldn't have necessarily gotten the time of day. Hawk and Dove. I wasn't a fan of that series. All right. When it came out, but they tried something new. They had the ability to take characters that were stagnant and try to do new things. And I think that's a sign of creative growth. And I think that's one of the benefits of having something like a line-wide reboot is that you can dabble in with these characters that don't fit into your corporate editorial criteria, otherwise.
Thank
Matt?
you for that. Thank you for that, Pete. That's a time on my end. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a perfect point. I have nothing to say on that one.
I think for these questions, what I'm gonna do is for anybody who wants them, I'll give it to one person, like Pete did. You know, you raise your hand for the run-in on that one. I think that'll organize it a little bit more. The next one here, before we jump back into questions, is from Aaron Orange, $5 Canadian. I like most things that happened to Venom since Kate's, and I'm a little scared because if Spidey's rebooted, so is Venom. Should I be worried? There it is, Sean.
Yes, you should absolutely be horrified because if you think about the trajectory of Venom from his inception to now, what you have is a very compelling character and story. All of that will go away. Venom's development as an anti-hero, having different owners and everything like that, all that's gone. You can forget about that. Mary Jane goes back to being Peter's hot model girlfriend. All the character growth that she's had, erased. Everything that Donny Cates did with Null and everything like that, erased. Back to square one. Is that really what we want?
Mind if I tag in, Sean?
Please, dude.
How do you even justify some of like key elements to characters? Like Captain America is still from World War II. Magneto, was he still in the concentration camps? Like, are you erasing all of those things that make those key
Erasure.
because you need to then modernize things? It doesn't make sense that this old man is still being able to kick people's asses.
That's time right there.
Okay, we'll end on asses.
Remember that word, erasure. That's what they want, erasure.
Easy. Let's not defame.
Oh,
All right,
sorry.
we'll go into question 8. And I'll post this one in the chat as well. If comics are doing so good in general, in the general sense, why would Marvel need to reboot at all to begin with? I'm gonna give this one to Sean first.
Thank you. So this is Cosm's question, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I agree with you wholeheartedly. They don't need to reboot. They don't. Comics are doing well. They're doing great. We talk about it all the time. Marvel's the top dog, and they have been for decades. It's only in this small pocket moment that we're in that DC is doing fantastically. We can't jump the gun and just do a reboot because DC's doing well in the current moment. Marvel's not worried about what's happening right now. Marvel can easily do a new #1 of Avengers or Spider-Man and turn the tide. And guess what? It doesn't have to be outside continuity. In continuity, these books sell. Everybody in this chat is talking about how Amazing Spider-Man is the character who will benefit the most from a reboot. But guess what? Amazing Spider-Man continues to sell like hotcakes, and it's never going to stop. Why would you turn your audience away from what is already selling? I tag in my partner.
Yeah, so that's funny. You're right. And the only reason that we're seeing like, oh, maybe Marvel needs to make, a little pivot here and there right now is because DC is doing so well. How is DC doing well though? It's not because of a reboot. They're doing well because they're focusing on creatives and creators, putting them on the right books, especially with the next level, and they're focusing on stuff like the absolute line. Marvel could do all that without a reboot if they really wanted to. Like that, the framework exists on the other team. And Marvel, honestly, probably will be doing something like that. They'd be kind of dumb not to, especially now they are potentially losing in sales, and quick little bursts here and there. So yeah, it proves that you don't need to have a reboot to actually make sense commercially either.
1 minute left.
I yield.
All right. I'm gonna pass this one to Matt. 3 minutes, and I'll restate the question here. If comics are doing so good in general, in the general sense, why would Marvel need to reboot at all to begin with? Why indeed, Matt?
Again, I think it's about bringing fresh eyes. I think, as we've seen with comics, when big shakeups happen, that tends to drum up excitement, which then drums up more money coming in. I think again, there's this prevailing theory that a reboot would invalidate the stories that come before. It doesn't. I can't say this enough because I've heard this argument. I've been in comics now for a number of years. I've heard the argument that reboots, like, it just it disqualifies the stories that come before, and I think it's just, again, an opportunity to do something new. Newness is important. And again, it's all cyclical. We want it to be cyclical. We want it to if you don't like what's happening now, you can just wait a little bit and jump onto something new when it reboots again. I think this stuff is very important, not only for the creatives but for readers as well.
Yeah,
Pete?
agreed. You know,
Thank you.
when I think about the top selling comics over the last year, you know, a lot of those don't they're not bogged down with continuity, right? Like Absolute Batman has done gangbusters. And yes, that is not in essence in and of itself a reboot, but the point is that it isn't bogged down by continuity. It is an access point for new readers, and it's sold millions and millions of copies. It's on what? It's 12th or 13th reprint or something like
11th.
that. 11th. That's insane, right? And all of the issues subsequently thereafter have been as almost as successful in a lot of ways. So I think that proves the point that like continuity can be a burden for new readership, but it doesn't alienate existing readership if it's done right. Now, obviously, we can have a conversation all day long about how the best way to approach it is. And I think when you consider DC leadership in the past with New 52, there were some errors on their part. I know that's been well covered by you guys in your deep dives. But if it's done well, if it's done right, if it's executed correctly, it can be welcoming to all levels of readership. And that's a win for everybody unanimously. And we're already seeing reboots, right? How many James Bond reboots have there been? How many Batman movie reboots? We wouldn't have The Dark Knight if Batman wasn't rebooted under Nolan and we just kept making, you know, the movies as it started with Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher, right? Like that, if we
That's
just
that
continue.
right there.
Can I run in just real fast?
Go for it. Do it.
Okay, let's again stick to the facts. Batman, mainline Batman, DC's top dog. Absolute Batman, incredible, hot seller, not mainline Batman. Mainline Batman is untouchable, and there's a reason for that. Not only is it damn good, but it's also got the history and the continuity that we all love so deeply.
Matt, I'll allow it.
Quick note on mainline Batman. You're talking about the Fraction Batman, the Matt Fraction Batman. We share a first name, Fraction and I.
Lovely.
I just want to make my point in that those stories, by the way, are all standalone. Each issue standalone. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm apoplectic right now. How can you say that it's how can you say that it doesn't deal with continuity when everything about it deals with continuity? Where did his son come from without continuity? No. Where did his son come from without continuity? What does it matter that Alfred's dead without continuity? How do you understand Alfred being dead without continuity? You gotta read that damn Tom King bullshit.
Not what I said, Sean. I didn't say anything about continuity. I did say those stories are standalone.
They're not. What happened to Alfred? Matt, tell me.
I understand. I understand.
Tell me.
But the story, the issues themselves are designed to be standalone. That is from Matt Fraction's mouth. Yes, there is continuity, but the stories themselves, those issues are designed to be standalone.
Audience, remember what he said. There is continuity. Standalone and continuity, separate ideas. Separate.
I'm gonna have to separate you guys. We get too hot here. All right. The next question we got in.
Separate them further via Zoom.
We have our ways.
Breakout rooms.
Breakout rooms. Yeah.
We are in the same state though, so
That's true.
The next one here from Neon Knight is there anything in Marvel history that absolutely should not be erased or rebooted? Tyler, haven't visited you in a second. I'm going to pass it off to you.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at some YouTube thing. I'm just gonna refresh my memory on what you just asked. Sorry.
Sorry, I'll restate it. I'll restate it. Is there anything in Marvel history that absolutely should not be erased
Oh.
or rebooted?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, this is easy.
Go for it.
Captain America. Captain America. Let's talk. Let's talk America, chat. Steve Rogers was a scrawny man from Brooklyn, New York, during World War II. Saw some injustice going wrong with the world and decided to stick up for what was right. And I think that needs to be ingrained in his character, no matter what. I don't think there should be a reboot, but even if there is a reboot, you can't really change that aspect of Captain America. I think, in fact, there's a lot of like origins that are just so outside your window that you can't really adjust them that much. The idea of like mutants too, that can't really change. Ultimate Comics even tried changing that shit and made it convoluted and confusing. They made it like a government injected thing. So I think there's clear tenets to Marvel characters that are so I guess the world outside your window being a descriptor that the Marvel used in its infancy, I think is key. I think those things can't really change. And I think Sean, do you want to tag in real quick?
Yes, absolutely. I think that the way that Marvel handles their continuity with a sort of sliding time scale makes it so that we don't even need to talk about this. I think it would be hugely detrimental to the legacy of these characters to throw it all away. I don't think it would help at all. What happened? I think Tyler's completely right. What happens to Captain America? What happens to the Punisher? These are characters. What happens to Iron Man? These are characters whose origins are tied to a time frame, and we need that there.
You reboot Punisher as a drone operator instead.
I'll yield.
Matt, I'll allow the run in.
Yeah, just a really quick point. Again, I say good creatives will be able to give you all of that same feeling without being hampered by the previous continuity. That is a fact. And I think ultimately that's what comics needs in general is good creatives. I yield.
Speaking of good creatives, and also Anthony Manzano, I see your question. This next one we have actually is going to kind of tackle something similar. So I want to lay this one out. Also from Cosm, and we're going to start here. We're going to end the way we started with the Matt on this one. So question 10, who should and would spearhead a reboot? And is there currently any confidence in the stable of people at Marvel that they would keep it to looking at editors in the first place? I guess is there a confidence in the current stable of people at Marvel to be able to spearhead said reboot? And then for the opposing team here, I guess you'll make your case for that there isn't. But Matt, starting with you.
Is there I think again, like they should be able to pivot if they need to be. That is the mark of a good creative. So who I think should spearhead something like that, man, I can't pick somebody that I think would be perfect for that, but I would trust the editorial that if that is something that they wanted to do, they would find the right people to do it. And if not, again, because comics are cyclical, eventually we will land on the creatives that will give us something new and fresh and exciting. Pete?
I think there's plenty of talent out there that are certainly capable of
Sorry,
steering.
Pete, I'm gonna need a tag. I'm gonna need a tag real quick.
Pete, you gotta have your hand on the pad.
My bad. It took me a second.
Thank you.
Took me a second.
FTR
I think there's plenty of talent out there that are capable of steering that kind of project or initiative. I think Zdarsky could do a great job with it. Hickman is at Marvel right now, right? And he certainly likes to do the architectural work when it comes to larger events or larger shifts. And he's got a proven track record of success when he's allowed to do his thing. There's certainly a lot of good options out there. I think Hickman would probably be my biggest choice to steer the ship, shift over to more of an editorial / writer role, you know, and to, you know, have him supported by the editorial team that already exists there, you know. I think that would probably be the best thing, right? You're blending the old guard and the new guard at the same time to maximize your staffing, if you will. You know, it's a corporate word. But I do think that there's a lot of a shift of this nature would also open up the doors to bringing in new blood, you know, maybe people from across the aisle, you know, the other companies, new talent that is looking for an opportunity, you know, indie creators, that sort of thing. I think that just a reboot in general, you know, allows Marvel to take a step back, look at who they have in place, and, you know, kind of formulate a plan better. Matt?
I just want to make a note that I like that you made this political. Like now
Yeah.
it's become
Yeah.
across the aisle, so it's a red versus blue situation.
Well,
which makes this debate
Lock
even
'em up.
more
Lock 'em
spicy.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lock 'em up.
I'm not going to make a
Wrong.
further comment, but it just made me laugh. I yield, man. I think we
Oh.
made our point.
Well, then, yeah, go for it. You got 7 seconds.
I didn't get to say something before. Some stories deserve to be erased. Sins past.
Oh, dang.
Sean's
No, that's
favorites.
it. That's it. All right. For the rebuttal here, I'm gonna pass to Tyler.
Okay. Here's the thing. I know the idea of a reboot means you can do new creatives. You could do that right now. Look at what again, let's look at DC. Let's use DC as an example here. A lot of our audience are DC fans, so this will make sense to them. Mark Waid at DC really refreshed the landscape there, starting with World's Finest. Kind of refreshed the tone that a lot of things started to then adopt because that book started doing really well for them. Sure, Dan Mora was on it, definitely helped. So I think if you focus on creatives, which I'm agreeing with you guys with, focus on the creators, but you don't need a reboot to do it. You can do that on the books that are already established. If they do a new Spider-Man #1 with a really fresh creative team, that negates any reason for a reboot because people will be enjoying it. That's all that matters. Sean, you want to tag in on this one?
Yes, I do. I have yet to hear one single thing that necessitates a reboot. Everything we're talking about can be done without it. You want to talk about who should lead this? Oh, I don't know. How about the guy who is the architect of Marvel, Jonathan Hickman? He's never needed a reboot to get his job done. He figures it out because he is a talented creator and a skilled architect. Let me also throw this out here. A lot of you who want Marvel rebooted feel like there are fundamental problems behind the scenes at Marvel. Do you trust the same editorial crap that you're annoyed with now to do you right in a reboot setting? Also, why is it that entrenched comic book readers are the people who are advocating for the reboot? I would rather hear from the person who doesn't read comics explain to me why we need a reboot rather than the two people who've collectively been reading comics longer than I've been alive. I yield.
You don't drink coffee either, Sean, do you?
No.
It's insane. Impressive.
Yeah, that's levels of energy I haven't seen since I was like in my teens.
This is what I do.
The gentleman yield. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get these last few super chats in, Sean, then we can get back to business. From MP with the 10 spot. Legacy characters are an issue for reboots. Both Crisis and Infinite Earths and New 52 erased entire characters from the universe for a time. Kara Zor-El, Helena Wayne, Cass Kane. How many characters would a 616 reboot erase? Just gonna jump in.
I'll jump in.
All right.
I'm gonna do some fear mongering tactics here. It's gonna erase everyone you love, every character. You Speedball fans, Speedball's gone. You Sideways fans, wrong universe, but it's gone too.
Jesus Christ.
If you like the New Warriors, guess what? It doesn't matter because now what's his face? Night Thrasher doesn't exist because if a reboot happens, they're gonna want to focus on their core. So all these side things, all these other characters, they won't get to for a while because they're too busy building up their core characters. That's exactly what happened to New 52.
And on top of that, in many cases, the things you love most about these characters may not be carried over. This creates an opportunity for new creators to do it their way. But what if you don't like the changes that they make to your favorite characters? What if you never get around to seeing your favorite character become your favorite character? Let's say you really love Miles Morales. But wait, we started with a teenage Peter. How long is it going to take Marvel to bring back Miles Morales? We know how much Marvel cares about their minority characters. It is Black History Month. Miles books ended. How long is it going to take for Marvel to reintegrate characters like that into their very lovely but very white, safe sandbox? I think it's going to take a long time.
Okay, white guy is your retort.
Okay, I would point out that Miles Morales originated from the Ultimate Universe and is not originally a character that was a mainline character. So you could still very much have Miles in an alternate reality. He doesn't have to be in the 616. You don't have to have all of your characters in the 616. You can reboot the 616 and still have an entirely separate stretch of continuity that incorporates other characters. If you plan your event out well enough, your cataclysmic, cosmic, explosive shakeup, you can separate these characters into different pathways. They can still exist, right? There are ways that you can do that. Did DC fumble with that? Big time. The New 52 didn't do justice by your Wally Wests and other legacy characters. But also at the same time, I would say Marvel doesn't have the same level of problem with that because they don't have as many legacy-based characters. So it's not as much of a point as it would be if we were talking about DC relaunching. Matt?
Actually, I'm gonna hold it there. We'll get in this one here. Actually, this is just a shout out, Mike Hank with the 189. I think DC's cosmic landscape needs a reboot. New Gods did not service it well, I think. And then from Andrew Dunson, the 499, a reboot would just play to the speculators. Absolute and Ultimate Universe work because we are so familiar with mainline continuity. That's interesting. Do you guys think, and this will be a question for the group, do you think that the reboot plays more to the fans or more to the speculator audience? Sean, that was a quick jump there.
Thank you so much. So we know already how the vultures work. Let's be honest. I think we can all agree we are not down with speculators. They will come running to this. They will come running to this. How many people in this audience who genuinely love to read Absolute Batman have not been able to procure a copy of issue 1? It's not because of us. It's because of them. And they will come and they will eat this reboot up, and you will not even be able to get and benefit from your own fandom. It won't be you benefiting. It'll be some person who doesn't give a damn about and love comics the way that we do. We need to make sure that every movement we make is fan forward, not speculator forward. I don't disagree with an absolute or an ultimate universe. That's great. But if you do it in mainline, you're alienating people, not just the old fans who don't want this, you're alienating eager audiences who won't even be able to get a copy because of speculation. Come on now.
Matt?
Wait, well, can I tag in? Do I have time?
Yeah, go ahead,
Or-
Tyler.
Yeah, go.
Tag.
I was gonna say
Tag.
that in a way it kind of fucks comic shops over too, because now they have to reestablish their entire idea of what these books are selling. Like, what is this book going to do? Like, how do I know? Sure, there's going to be a great bump initially, but then they're going to have to, like, I think even during New 52, comic shops were complaining about like not knowing where books stand in terms of how many they should order. It becomes too convoluted.
Matt?
I think the easiest solve, just because I agree, speculators are I think variant covers, that whole thing like really grinds my gears. I understand why they do it. I think the easiest way to combat speculators is just overprint #1, overprint, so there's not a scarcity. Like, similar to what, like, I think Spawn #1 has, like, that the value of that book has not increased in forever because there's so many copies of it out there. Just overprint. That's how we combat speculators. I think that's the easiest way.
I I would also add on to that you know, okay, yeah, there's a problem with speculators. Sure, they take comics from the hands of people who are diehard readers, but Marvel and DC get their money, and that money gets put back into new product. That product ultimately pays other creators. So it's not a great thing, but you know, in theory, it does have that, you know, that trickling element where hopefully you'd think some creators are making out on that. I would assume that Nick Dragotta is making bank off of all the speculators that have picked up Batman. And if true, good for him.
Definitely. Absolutely. I wish I was one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not reboot lootly. Absolutely.
There you go, Tyler.
All right. Closing question here. And this is coming off of something Pete had said that was interesting to me, where we were talking about how the what creatives would sort of lead this effort. And Pete, you'd said maybe it's a matter of a Hickman entering kind of this editorial space. And that's sort of where he can craft. He is already the architect, right? And so, how does he then guide the future of the Marvel Universe? So, I'm thinking, is it a matter of the execution? Is that solely the issue here? Can a reboot work in Marvel? Should the execution under the leadership of a Hickman, would that work? Would that work for your sensibilities? And then would that work for the lay reader? And I'm gonna give that to Pete actually to start.
I think that it would, right? I think, and look, if you look at any newspaper or news article today, right? I think there's real world examples of people not hearkening back to the past to learn a lesson in the present. And I think a smart reboot under somebody who is diligent in their architectural layout of how that reboot works, that honors the past, that pulls in components of continuity. I think that bolsters the chance that a reboot would succeed. Right? Like if it's just a reboot, we're not going to pay attention to the past, then that's likely to fail. Right? I think New 52 was points to that in some ways. But if it's intelligently designed, if it doesn't shun the past, if it doesn't shun all aspects of continuity, if it refines it and throws things back in certain ways, I think that makes it a more successful project. I think that execution is key, right? It all comes down to who do you have on the team? How are you laying it out? How far out can you plan? Things that comic books in general can struggle with, right? Schedules are important. Marketing plans are important. Knowing what you're doing 6-8 months out is important. And I think that you have to have the right team to support that. Matt, you got something?
Tagging in. Yeah, I think thank you for the sound effect. I think again, I have to say, like, good creatives will make both of these options work, right? And I think that's ultimately what all comic book fans want, are good creatives. Like we want good stories, no matter what it takes, right? So I think good creatives, good creative teams can make both of these things work, no matter what. So yeah, I think a Hickman could do it, but it just like because he's a good creative. Pete?
Yeah. And I think too, it's like, you know, any artist is only as good as you know, what he's working with, right? Any writer is only capable of telling the story that they want to tell within the confines that they're afforded. And I think that with an open tapestry, you're likely to see a better result. You know, if you're bogged down by too much continuity, it might put a writer in a corner, you know. And there's been plenty of times where something happened in continuity and then it just fizzled away. Is Batman's hand a robot hand still? Just out of curiosity.
Read a comic.
Was that a thing that happened? Like I don't
It got
Read a
fixed.
comic.
It got
There's
It got
time,
fixed in
there's
one of the
time.
newer issues of Hush 2. It hasn't come out yet.
There's
there.
time.
See,
All right, Sean, closing argument there.
Thank you for offering me the opportunity. I think that if we all agree that there is a way to handle a reboot appropriately, if you think that, right, then why not put that same effort into making what we have now already great? We're acting as if Marvel Comics are bad. Like there's something that's been fundamentally wrong for many, many, many years, and we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And that's not the case. When I look at the landscape of Marvel's comics, I'm actually very optimistic about their future. They've done a lot of the things we've already said. They've brought on creators that are fresh to Marvel, that are talented, that we enjoy. They have put those creators on books that are now revitalized. I can tell you right now, Incredible Hulk, Thor, and Captain America and Iron Man are all in great spots, better than they've been in a very long time. If Marvel can take that same approach and cut through their entire line and say, well, where can we shore this up? Where can we make this better? All of a sudden, a year from now, we're talking about a thriving Marvel that's not just selling well, because it's already doing that, but also bringing new people into the fold and making people excited about their works again. I believe when we're on the other side of Armageddon, we're going to be talking about a hot Marvel, a Marvel that is on fire. And by the way, a Marvel that doesn't reboot and might not even have a micro line. Mainline Marvel is all I need. Make my Marvel, baby. Mainline Marvel. No reboot. Tag.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I think my opponents on the other side of the aisle have made a lot of good arguments, but I think their arguments have all been for creative focused comics, which you don't need a reboot for. All that stuff that is happening with DC's All in Line is creator focused. Even the next level, we're getting Scotty Young on Lobo. If you do stuff like that, which Marvel is seeming to do soon, with having Chip on books, having looks like Hickman as well working behind the scenes, I think they are doing all of that, and it's all still in continuity. I look at a book like Immortal Thor, and in terms in conjunction, Mortal Thor. That book exists because of continuity. That book is a love letter to the continuity of Thor, in so much that it takes everything from it. And I think stuff like that just proves how beneficial continuity is, and that if you just get creatives who know how to work with it, it makes good books. Closing argument: make continuity great. No, I couldn't even finish that.
Jesus
one.
Christ!
I thought you were going to say the Dow's over 50,000.
I'm not going to turn around to people behind me either.
And there's time, gentlemen. Thank you so much for keeping this friendly. I think for
you guys.
for the massacre, a few scrapes and bruises, maybe one chair thrown here or there. That I know about wrestling.
Marco knows about the throwing of chairs in wrestling.
That's
right.
He's
only a Sabu fan.
Look, this was a tremendous debate. I loved it. I think Pete and Matt, you guys were honorable opponents. Look, maybe punching a little bit above your weight class.
Oh,
But that's okay.
Wow.
I am very curious as to what the chat believes regarding who the real winners of this debate were. So thankful to our moderator, Marco. You did an incredible job. Really, really got to give hats off to Marco. Excellent moderation.
Marco got the objectives 1 a.m. last night. So very good job, Marco. Yeah.
I was originally, kind of envisioning this as more of like a gimmick match, like a Marco on a pole match, or
wouldn't
take
much to see Marco on a pole like that.
TLC match. This is
what's the Japanese exploding barbed wire bat match?
Exploding barbed wire death match.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
What? These are words that are being thrown at me at the moment.
Marco's never heard these words in these orders before.
Marco, please put up a poll so that the chat can let us know which team won this debate. Guys, Pete, thank you so much for even having this idea.
Yeah.
Matt, sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah.
Matt, thank you for agreeing to be a part of it.
Of course, thanks for having me.
These two guys, and I want to talk to them while we get the poll up, and then we will determine a final winner. These two gentlemen are embarking on a very, very, very exciting journey. And I really want to talk about Summit Comics because this is something that's exciting to me as just a fan of comics. It's also exciting to me as somebody who has a vested interest in seeing comics grow and evolve and bring in new creators, new faces. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Summit Comics is launching as a brand new superhero universe. And in a way, it's kind of what you guys were advocating for throughout the debate. It's a fresh starting place with diverse characters and interesting characters like the Diabolist, which we're going to talk about. But it's also fresh creator voices. It's people that you may not have heard from who've been doing great comics behind your eyes, behind the veil for years and years and years and are finally kind of like stepping out on stage. I love that. Can you guys talk about your excitement level for Summit Comics and what people can expect from the Kickstarter that I'm about to share a link to?
Pete, you could start. You've been in
Okay.
there from the early stages.
Okay. So at its core, Summit Comics is it's indie superhero comics that are pulled together to make a shared universe, right? Everybody can come to the table with their idea, with their vision, and have a sandbox where things that happen in someone else's indie comic can happen in someone else's indie comic, and there's not a lot of examples of that, I think. It also allows us to have a community where we can bounce ideas off of each other, be it suggestions on how to complete a drawing or a panel in a page. I do that very frequently. I help with character designs for some other people so that they have a baseline to take to their artists or their colorists. And it's allowing us to kind of release Summit driven books, but also to spread the Summit brand to other people and to help bolster them up, right? So Summit will have its own created characters, its own mission, but we're also assisting other people whose characters are entering into our space and raising them up alongside of us.
I love that. Matt, what are you sort of how is Summit Comics feeling to you like a fresh opportunity?
Are we tagging in?
Yeah, let me tag. Thanks, Tyler. I think what's exciting to me is I'm coming into this a little bit late in the game. Like, Pete started helping them out with character designs and all this stuff, but Pete and I had a superhero story that we've been sitting on forever. We kind of put it aside to focus on Bardic Verses, but we created a short that was for another anthology, and we want to do more with this character. We always come back to it. It's always been the project that we noodle on when we're between things. And Summit Pinnacle live on Kickstarter currently is the opportunity to bring that story that we created for another anthology and integrate it into this universe. Like, bring this character that we care about with a story that we had already created that easily just fits right into the puzzle piece, and use that as a launching off point to now continue to tell stories about this character that we care so much about.
That's fucking awesome. And Summit Comics Summit Pinnacle #1 is going crazy on Kickstarter. Like, legit huge fucking congratulations to the people behind Summit, because you guys had a relatively modest goal, and I know how that sounds. It sounds crazy that this is a modest goal, but this is comics we're talking about. A relatively modest goal of $10,000, right? $22,000 right now is what the Summit Pinnacle #1 Kickstarter sits at. 417 backers, and I am absolutely going to be, hopefully, the 418th backer, unless somebody gets 419th backer, excuse me.
Yeah,
Unless
yeah.
somebody else gets to it first, I want to be in on the ground floor of something new and exciting and fresh. And it helps that my friends are a part of it too. And it's not just them. There are really good people behind this shit. Like people whose names I have known just like, underneath the surface of the direct market. Comics are so much bigger than what you see at your LCS, and these are two people who know a lot about that. Why Summit? Like, why should I? Obviously, I'm sold. You don't have to sell me, but like, if I'm not, why Summit?
Well,
I could take this one, Pete.
yeah, go for
Just
it.
really quick. My perspective is, again, it's an opportunity for new creatives to tell different kind of superhero stories. Like, I think one of the things that is kind of unfortunate with the news that this Kickstarter was going live is I think a lot of the clickbaity headlines were new, independent comic book company is competing with Marvel and DC. No, we're not. Like, no, we're not. We understand that, but like we're just another avenue for somebody. If you enjoy superhero stories, if you want something a little new and a little different, like come check us out. Like we have every kind of superhero you can think of. We're either we have now or we're going to have in the future. But we're just new, largely unknown creators to the greater public, just telling the stories we want to tell using superheroes as our backdrop.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, like it's something new and something fresh, and it gives it gives a voice to the voiceless, right? Like it allows us to, you know, to stand up together and work for something that um maybe we'd never get the opportunity to do otherwise, right? Like would I love to draw Batman? Hell yeah, I would love to draw Batman. Will that day ever come? I don't know. So why wait till then, if it ever happens, to draw some superhero street level vigilante stuff? Why do I have to wait for that? I don't. And I think this gives us an opportunity, all of us that are involved, to flex our muscles. Indie comics can be more than horror stories. It can be more than fantasy. It can be more than, you know, uh, small cheeky tales in an anthology. We can do more than that, and this is a good platform that we've built up to do that.
So I am backing this project right now. And I want to work the audience through the process that I am going through right now as I'm looking to get this. You have so many options. I love that fact. If you just want to get the digital no frills, $12, no shipping. You just get it, $12. You get the Summit issue, and it's got a bunch of stories in there. It's not just you guys, right? It's
No,
it's it's a ton of different creators.
it's a ton of different stuff. When we even have, and we have some great covers also.
Yeah.
We have a Phil Hester hardcover, which
Looks
our,
good.
our our hardcovers, I believe we're going to be doing uh, sketches for certain things. We've got book plates that'll be signed. So some people are going to get autographed copies of stuff. And every it seems like every few days we're adding to our stretch goals. We've got a bookmark now. We've got a trading card in there now. So
Wow.
like we're turning it into something bigger than just backing a project and getting a comic book. You're gonna get a little gift box if you back physically. Um, and it's just continuing to go.
Well, I am pledging right now. I am pledging right now. I
Thank you,
am
Sean.
so excited about this. And I really want to make sure that you guys understand that the only way things like this get off the ground is if we support it.
Yep. Yep.
That's the only way it can happen.
You're number 419, Sean, because I was 418.
You beat me to it?
Yes, sir.
Damn it, Marco. You know what it is? Because my freaking I got a new credit card and I gotta change the info here. That's what it is.
Mine's locked and loaded. I hit one button, and that's how easy it is to back. One
Charged
button.
into the game.
Thank you so much for that too. It's
Yeah, we
appreciated.
appreciate it.
Chat, What are we thinking? Do you have questions for them about Summit Comics? I saw one question that went around a couple times, which is here's Carter Mitchell saying it. The obvious question then is, how often will Summit reboot? When's the Summit reboot?
You know what's great about that is that we don't have to, because we're not bogged down by continuity. We're new, we're fresh, and
That
we're
is the right
excited.
answer. That's the
There
right
you go.
answer.
Yeah. And let's talk about the Diabolist, because that's the character that you guys are sort of bringing into the universe. I know that you guys co-created it, and I've seen it, and he looks sick as shit. What's the origin there?
Yeah, I could jump in there. What's funny about that character is I discovered very recently. I messaged Pete about this. Is before Bardic Versus, before Summit, before like when I was getting my start in comics, I I was working for Double Take Comics, which is a flash in the pan comics company that was owned by Take Two Interactive, one of the biggest video game publishers in the world. And before my book dedication came out with them, we were pitching stuff. Like they would give us prompts and we would pitch stories. And I had pitched a story for a prompt. I'm not going to get into it because it's terrible. I look back on my pitches and I was like, I'm glad they turned these down because they're awful. But the crux of my pitch was about like a thief who gets sent to prison and has to escape. He's an escape artist that's also would steal. And I just like grabbed onto that character idea. And when Pete and I were just like spitballing stuff we wanted to work on, I had thought about why don't I turn that escape artist into like a street level vigilante? Like maybe it is somebody who, he gets framed for a crime he didn't commit, goes to prison and has to use his skills and escape artistry to get out of prison and now figure out what, who framed him and why. That's kind of the very bare bones of the Diabolist, but that's kind of where he starts. And in the story in Summit, we're like in the middle of his, like he's already a street level vigilante. So we reference his backstory, but we're not showing it. And I think the idea is our springboard from Pinnacle will lead into us telling that story, like telling him his start from when he was like this, internet famous escape artist, stage musician that was framed for this horrible crime and, has to escape from prison.
Yeah, drop us in the story, and then from there, kind of develop out. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Love
We'll get
it.
that. We'll
And
get that to that 0.
what's really cool too is like, this is Matt and I've worked on a number of other things, Bardic Versus, different stories for different projects, and it seems like the stars kind of aligned here, right? With Summit forming and us having the opportunity to be a part of that. Like the Diabolist as a character has always been there in the background. Like, occasionally I'll drop a picture in, like we would chat about it. And I think at this point, like we're at the height of our game where if we had done it earlier, I don't think I personally would have felt as fulfilled or that it would be as potentially successful. So I think we're at a point right now where, I've worked out my art. Matt's writing has never been better, and now we're coming back. We're reconverging on this idea to actually launch now, and I think that's got me excited. Right, I get excited about any project that I draw on, but this one, like I I don't know. I feel like an anxiety about it, like an anxiousness, right? Like I just power shot a Red Bull just talking about it. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
The heart's fluttering. What did the design look like? Like, what was that conversation? Was that Matt? Did you already have that sort of in mind, and then you're just like, here's the idea, or Pete, were you kind of the driving force?
I feel like we
I
spitballed on it a
Yeah,
lot. Like we
there was
really,
some back and forth.
yeah,
Um,
it's a lot of collaboration, is what I'll
yeah,
say for sure.
yeah, yeah. We got hung up on whether or not he'd have a hood for a little bit. No hoods, no hoods.
We also were debating not giving him a mask. Like he would just
Yeah,
have, I think it was like early on the Arrow TV show, he'd have like
yeah.
the grease paint. Like I wanted to do that because that look is really cool. But ultimately, it's like you're looking at a guy in grease paint. Like that's not really hiding
Yeah.
his. It looks like he was just working on a car.
It's
But
not
then
super iconic, yeah.
yeah, like Pete, you know, came up with the idea for like that half skull mask, and I was like, this is it. Like that's a striking image. And like we noodled on it from there. Even like the design that we have today must have went through like 20 different iterations before we even landed on where it is now. And who knows, like we could decide to change it again in the future.
When you reboot.
Yeah,
When
when we
we
reboot, it'll be
reboot.
he'll be like a social media influencer.
Heroes had a good question. What's the long-term plan for this? Do y'all have a full plan laid out, or are y'all going off of how much support you get in order to continue?
It's a great question. That's a great question. We do have internally we have a like a production schedule planned out. So Pinnacle, this is just kind of like our first, our first launch out. The intent is that Pinnacle will be an annual release for us, and every year it'll be, one of the writers oversees it. We're going to contribute with like smaller individual stories with like an overarching, through line, right? So that all of those little stories connect in some way, right? Maybe it's something is happening at a different part of a city where some other fight is happening or something. It's all going to interconnect, so all those stories will be cohesive. Pinnacle will be an annual release. We are also going to be releasing Summit Presents, which will be a 2-in-1 quarterly release, I think is the plan, or quarterly or bi-monthly. And what that is it's just going to be like 3 8-page stories or 2 12-page stories per issue. Think the old school Marvel Comics Presents, right? Where you'd get
Sure.
8 issues, and that makes 2 full issues of a Spider-Man story or Wolverine story. And then we also have our independent solo projects. So we actually have another project that's up on Kickstarter right now. Well, we don't as Summit, but CJ Hudson has his character Granite, who is part of the Summit universe. He's doing his own Kickstarter currently, but that character is part of Summit. That character is under the umbrella, a very integral portion of our continuity, but that is his character that he's brought to us. So he's running with that independently.
Wow.
So we're focused on like the company Summit stuff, but other people are doing their own things to the side. We're not running 20 different Kickstarters at the same time, but other people can do their thing, and that falls under our overall umbrella.
We had a question from Munster NA kind of in that vein. Are you guys taking story pitches for the universe, or is that a longer term goal?
So right now we've got a lot of internal pitches. As we progress, I think at some point we will be opening up the opportunity for more submissions. One of the things I think we're also planning to do in the near future is additional talent searches. So far, we've done a writer talent search and an artist and colorist one. I know that there were some conversations about continuing that because it was very fruitful for us. We found some amazing talent that we were then allowed to, form a relationship with that we wouldn't normally. I actually have the pleasure of drawing a 2-page story for one of our writer winners, so I'll be contributing that in Pinnacle as well. I know we've got some stuff planned. I think we're even trying to do like an inker and a letterer talent search, which I've never personally seen a letterer talent search, so I think that's awesome. But yeah, there will be an opportunity in the future at some point, I'm sure.
Nice.
Ivy Moon wants to know, if we fall for a character, will it be easy to find more of that character? It's a good question.
Yeah, I think so. I don't, we're not in a position yet where we're talking, monthly releases of the same character again and again, right? This is new and upstart, but yes, there will be more involvement. So Diabolist, for example, we've got some stuff that we're looking to get in after Pinnacle. Matt and I have talked about how we want to maybe pull him into maybe do a mini. So some of those things are still simmering. But there are definitely plans to continue with these characters. It's not going to be a one and done situation where a character you see in Pinnacle just drops off the face of the earth and you never hear from them again. There will be accessibility and there will be future releases.
Yeah, it'll be easy to figure out. Like, I think with Diablo specifically, like we kind of, our plan is to, like, to make it as easy as possible for people to follow that character, because we, you know, obviously we want everyone that wants to read it to be able to read it. So it's not going to be like you gotta you know, read this one story in Pinnacle and then now you gotta, you know, jump over to this person's single issue because he's in it for like 3 panels and then go over here. Like, no, like we want to make sure all of our stuff is as Pete said, as accessible as possible.
Yeah. And everything will be on the Summit website. You know, following release and any associated Kickstarter fulfillment, it will be on there. So if there is something that involves a character that you like, you can always go in and check it out, or you can just check out something new.
And then last question here from Cosm. He says, but are these separate individual issues and then combined into an event like an annual?
No, that's the thing, is we very much don't want to do the big crossover event where you've got to go get 12 issues of anything. So like Pinnacle is our event. Pinnacle 1 is more of just an introduction, but moving forward, Pinnacle 2, 3, 4, etc. Those we're doing our event in one book. So you don't have to collect all these other books.
Be streamlined, focused.
Yeah.
And I think that's really smart. For where you guys are starting, I think that's a brilliant way to approach it. Like, everything I've heard so far sounds great, looks great, and I can't wait. I was able to back it just now, so I am the 420th backer? 400 and
Blaze it.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Perfect.
you beat me to it.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Wow.
Chat.
And you got us over 23, so thanks.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Summit, Pinnacle. These guys right here, Matt and Pete, have been pals since before there were pals. I don't care if there are 1,000 people watching this shit. These two, welcome in this space. So if they've got a project, we got to support it. It's because it's quality, because we know they always put out great books, and we know that they're our brothers. And if you go hard for us, for Tyler, Marco, and I, go hard for the brothers. Go hard for the pals.
Yeah, get hard, Chess.
Yeah, everyone let's get hard.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait to get this issue. Do you guys have any idea about fulfillment? Like when the Kickstarter will be fulfilled?
It's got to be imminent, right? Like, I feel like most
pretty quick.
I mean, we had the luck of our story's been done for what, like 2 years now, if that. So we were able to go, here you go, like this is ready to go, it's print ready, like just throw it in the book. I think everyone else had finished theirs before. If not, there might be one story that might be wrapping up as we're finishing the Kickstarter, but we're pretty much ready to go. So I think fulfillment should happen like pretty quickly after the Kickstarter funds. I don't have exact timing, but it should be very close.
It says on the on Kickstarter, April 2026. So around that time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so pretty imminently.
Yeah.
Super fucking cool, man. But you know what else is cool? What's cool is that our audience are smart people. What team convinced you? Should or should Marvel not reboot the universe?
Segue.
Yes, they should. So that's Pete and Matt representing that side of the argument. 40%. Compared to no, they shouldn't. Tyler and I, 60% of the vote. That's a majority, folks. That's a landslide.
Well, I don't know about landslide.
Yeah, I was going to say not a landslide, really, but shout out.
Who got the popular vote? Do we know?
We did.
I thought we got electoral. Are we? Am I okay? No.
Oh yeah. No.
If the conversation still leads to 40% of your audience thinking that it needs a reboot, then that's still a good chunk of people thinking that it needs some attention, though. Ultimately,
Not enough.
reboot or not, right? Like it still needs something.
Shout
And
out
I think
40%.
Yeah, and I think that's the ultimate takeaway here. Like reboot or not, like we had a great, we had fun time, debating this and playing into the wrestling gimmick thing. But I think like at the end of the day, like 40% of the people that voted think that there needs to be some kind of a change, and I think that ultimately speaks to Marvel needing to do something.
It's
Whether,
telling.
yeah, exactly. Maybe it's not a line-wide reboot, but
Nice to
they
see
definitely need something.
there's a 40% of deplorables out there. Good to know.
Oh my
Oh God.
I want all the voting machines checked.
Yeah, I think there's collusion in there. Yeah.
There was some Russian involvement.
I think really quick, Sean, I think
Yeah.
ultimately 60%, 40%, it's 100% that we all love comics, we all care about this medium, and we just want good stories. Like that's all of us are asking for is good stories. So it just shows again that this is something that we care about very deeply.
You're absolutely right. Nobody's going to accuse you, or hopefully our side, of not caring about comics. That's the ultimate point of this whole thing. And hopefully we can all win. We can all win, because if a good comic comes out, that's a win. Like regardless of what you think, ultimately, good comics are good comics.
Absolutely.
Oh, interesting. Ultimately, absolutely.
Not reboots, by the way. We've got a lot more show to do, so much that it's definitely gonna have to be trimmed because there's just no fucking way.
Yeah.
Matt and Pete, are you hanging out, or what are you doing?
Yeah,
I can hang
man.
out.
Beautiful.
I got nothing to do.
Beautiful. Okay, so then that means we might even have a tag team goat game a little later.
Ooh.
Tyler's holding up the wheel, which means we owe some spins. Let's do it.
Do you know how many we owe at this point?
I'm about to figure that out. 5.
Okay. Pete or Matt, what's your birth year?
81.
I'm not trying to get your
84.
Pete
84.
84. Okay. All right. What month in 84? Let's see what's happening in Marvel Comics in 1984. Give me a month.
Month, September.
September of 84. Let's see what was happening in September of 84. September. Oh wow. And Amazing Spider-Man number 256. Do you know what happened in September of 1984?
I don't.
The first appearance of Puma. I guess September 84 was not a very exciting month.
Oh, key issue.
Yeah, key issue. Interesting.
It's
Cool.
one for the speculators.
I think I'm going to go buy that book now.
You should. I actually would want to. You know, that reminds me of something. That made me think about, because we did an interview with Ignition Press's Philip Sablick a couple weeks ago. And one of the things that Ignition books do is on the back of the book, there's like a serial number that's unique to that individual copy. So I decided what serial number I want. And I really want Voyeur number 1, serial number 616. Because that's my birthday, 616, and it's the Marvel number. So that's the one I want. That's the one I'm trying to get.
If it's Voyeur, I want 69. What are you doing, Sean?
You know what? Yeah, you're
Come on.
you're right. Fuck.
Want
Go ahead.
I was gonna say 8008.
That's the one you want?
They don't go that high. Remember, it's only in the 5,000 range. He wants the one that's
Oh, right,
boob,
right.
Sean.
Yep.
He wants boobs.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. That's a reminder.
That's a nerd calculator humor from the fucking AI over here.
Gotta do it.
That's a reminder, though, that we do have an Ignition Press starter kit to give away to a lucky audience member today. You're going to get all the Ignition Press number 1s from 2025. We've already given away one. We gave one away last week. Stay tuned, because we're going to give one away here today, but it ain't happening yet. We'll give you the word.
So
Don't go anywhere. We've got over 100 of you here with us. Smash the like button. Stay tuned for the giveaway. Chris says, "What the fuck? Sean was literally born to be a Marvel stan." Do you understand that I only realized that 2 years ago?
That's wild.
Yeah.
Did you learn? I think you found that out on the show, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Live.
I did. Yep. It was in the Stakoa era.
I think I was born to be a Rey Mysterio fan. Booyaka.
Before we get into the meat, somehow the meat of the show wasn't the debate. Before we get into the schmeat of the show, I do want to thank and give a humble, huge shout out to our special Palsverse legends. These are the people who make this possible every single week. Some of them are you. The Hound of Justice, Atomic Hound, Starcross, Catherine Stars, The Spear of Judgment, Jay's Jumble, Jalen Jackson, The Sanguine Sorcerer, Safe Haven, Hayden's Hideout, Jesse and the Juggernaut, Kyle the Zenith, Panda v Panda, Ted Wong, Adam the Soulless Smith, Sam the Last Young Renegade, Blur, Jekyll Jose, Entertain Me, Peter, Living Lightning Electrics, Just Unseen, Shalom, Paladin Warburg, Jamzilla, Cosm, Deandric. You guys are fucking phenomenal. You're phenomenal. Thank you so much for all your support. And I also want to thank Harris Najinski, who rejoined us as well. So thank you so much.
Nice.
Also want to thank Palsverse members Brian Demolish Del Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Dan the Truth Trudeau, Marley Manastorm, Slow Flow Dameron, Christian Uncaged, The Spear of Justice, Izzy's Issues, Robert Runback, Tashaback, Pete, the Dreamweaver Collins of Summit Comics. Go support that damn Kickstarter. I guarantee you, you won't regret it. James Just Jamming Jones, Paul Powerhouse Smith, Neon Knight the Cosmic Avenger, BJ Kicks of Comics Are Dope, The Grand Alchemist, Chop Harder Alchemist, and John Barrier B. If you didn't hear your name, you're supposed to stick around. We will get around to you. Jaws Tar with the 5 spot. Thank you, brother. Listening back, but wanted to say hi, pals. Y'all see the Tokon X-Men reveal? Danger's a weird choice, but Magic got me simping. Me too. Me too, bro. Game's going to be amazing.
Yeah, she's giving off those tsundere vibes.
What's that?
That's a anime manga trope. Where the lead doesn't really like mess with you initially, but slowly over time you whittle her down and she might become a love interest.
Oh.
All right.
I'm loving the fucking sound effect era that we're in. Tyler, you're muted, bro.
Oh, I said a weeb alert too, but I guess the sound effect was enough to drive that home.
We got it. Yeah, we got it.
I was gonna say it's cool that Danger's the first Marvel fighting game stage to become a character.
Oh,
Is she a
yeah,
stage
yeah.
in Marvel vs. Capcom?
I saw that. Yeah.
yeah.
I think
Technically, yeah.
The account tweeted it. They're like, oh, yeah, I guess technically.
That's sick. Matt, Pete, do you guys fuck with fighting games at all?
I'm terrible at fighting games, but that I played the beta for Tokon, and it's unbelievable. Like it looks like an anime come to life. Like the graphics are next level.
Damn, dude, I'm jealous you got to play.
Yeah, I tried getting in. I couldn't get in.
I didn't even bother. I fucked up.
Same. Yeah.
How's that Comixology subscription, Sean? Damn,
I need
still fucking up. Jeez. All right.
They should cancel me. What the fuck? They don't know that I haven't used it. Like, get me off this.
I gotta know.
Best kind of customer.
Specifically, Place Tweet might cancel you.
That's true. Someone mentioned earlier, this was the funniest thing I've read today, that AT&T used to call former employees, they would say they graduated to customer.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's true. Yeah, I used to work for Verizon in the call center, and when people would leave or get fired, we would say they got promoted to customer.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The same thing at Apple. Yeah. We would have the Terminator come in when you knew like, oh, someone's getting fired.
The Terminator?
Speak.
Yeah, there was like one guy who would always come in, and he was the guy that dealt with like internal shrink issues. Like, oh, somebody got caught stealing.
Oh,
so whenever you saw him coming, I'm like, all right, somebody's fired at the end of the day.
Jeez.
I've always appreciated the term shrink as well. It's not theft, it's shrink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to play that game. I'm hoping I get to. Well, I'm not hoping.
You'll
I'm going
be able
to
get to play it. Yeah, and I would love to do maybe a little fun little tournament in the Discord or something.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, I would love that too. So we are in the middle. Look, it's February, right? We all know what February means. It's a very important month because, marginalized people deserve to have their time in the sun. And that is why we have dedicated the month of February to someone who deserves a lot more attention. Alan Moore is the subject of More Month, February, and so we have a final four.
Threw those guys for a loop.
I couldn't do the show with an audience because Pete's reaction.
I'm just laughing at famous marginalized creator Alan Moore.
Absolutely. The way he was treated by DC? Come on.
Marginalized. Yeah.
Terrible.
Okay, I'm gonna point out something that we all need to address together as a community right now because somebody is cheating. I just noticed this, and I'm hot off this. Somebody's cheating because I just went and they know who they are.
That was
they
just
know
me.
Who they are.
That was just me.
Somebody cheated. I'm looking at the Alan Moore Month Book Club poll, and someone who has access to the PALS account placed a vote for Saga of the Swamp Thing. We banned ourselves from voting, but I see that it was done. So I'm looking at one person right now, very cross. Marco, did you do this shit?
Whoa, I feel like I'm the escapist. What a fucking tragic crime that was committed here that I'm being framed for. That's insane. The likelihood, the propensity. No, that's not me.
I think Marco did it.
High likelihood.
I think Marco did it.
I'm being put in an awkward spot.
It definitely wasn't a misclick from me.
Well, now that we've exposed the truth, Tyler, I hope you know what that means. And also, I'm not even so sure I believe your little misclick story. Why? Because who was talking privately about how they don't want to fucking read
I didn't
from
know
hell.
it would actually work for us. It makes no sense that you can do that.
I've started already, dude.
That's smart, and I'm about to start because this shit is winning, and we're gonna read from hell.
Yes,
very likely.
What's the percentage?
Swamp Thing is actually in the lead.
Swamp Thing is in the lead, but it's tainted because it's got our vote attached.
Well, undo it and it's still in the lead.
There's no undo.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, you just unclick it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's just
So
it's a toggle.
Okay, so there's a 4% difference right now between Swamp Thing and From Hell. Promethea is dragging down at 11%. Top 10, not quite in the top cut at 19%. Cast your vote if you're eligible, please.
And, all those third-party voters, maybe pick one of the two.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. Pete, did you vote?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I voted for Promethea.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's a wasted vote.
Well, okay. Well, it's
no, wait, I voted top
there
10. I voted top 10.
That's what I would have voted for. Yeah,
that's
right.
also a waste. I would have personally voted for top 10 as well for some reason. I've never read it. I don't know what happens. I just like the name. It's kind of weird.
All I know is there's a guy who's a anthropomorphized Doberman in that book.
Sick.
And I think I love like dog people, not furries. I don't have any opinions on furries, but like dog people are cool. Like Anubis, he's rad.
Yeah, completely agreed. Alan Moore, get your vote on. Patrons, all patrons. If you can hear me and you're a patron, get your vote. We have 27 votes. Do you understand how many people are part of our Patreon? There should not be 27 votes, please. Thank you.
Get those numbers up. Also, I want to apologize. I said the escapist earlier, not the Diabolus. I had Cavalier and Clay on the mind.
Well, he is an escapist.
Well,
yeah, he's an escape artist, so same diff.
Okay, all right, yeah. Don't besmirch.
We forgive you, Marco.
Yeah, Jesus. Better fucking say it right. But in addition to celebrating Alan Moore, we're also doing our top 5 Black characters.
Okay, yeah.
So that's how we're actually.
That's why we invited Matt and Pete on the show.
Yeah.
Well, listen, they're wearing black. They both have black hoodies on. That doesn't work. Oh, well.
No.
Power to the people.
So Matt and Pete, since you're the guests, I would love to hear. I'm sure you don't have a top 5, But if you've got like a top one,
I'm
or
sure you don't have a top. I'm sure you don't like these characters.
Yeah.
Just give me one though.
just name a black.
Name one black guy you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, actually, I would say Sean.
There we go.
I mean, my top is Static Shock, man.
Okay.
I like we're
Nice.
getting a little of a Static Shock resurgence. Shout out to Swerve Strickland, who came out in Static Shock cosplay at what show was that he came out?
Oh,
Like
he
one
had
of the
the
pay-per-views, I
he
think?
had the belt at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great character, great cartoon. That would be my number one, I think. Pete, what do you got?
It's tough, and I don't want to say like one of like the standard options, I guess, like a Black Panther or Storm. I think that's probably a lot of people's default. While valid. I like Bishop. I think Bishop is a great character. I think he's been interesting. I think he's underutilized nowadays. I like Bishop. And Cyborg. Can't go wrong with Cyborg.
Nice.
And you go wrong putting him on the Justice League when they rebooted.
Well, yeah,
but,
all right,
you know.
maybe you can't go wrong with Cyborg.
I just want to call Pete out for his lack of enthusiasm when speaking about black characters.
Whoa, 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 whoa! No.
Damn.
Wait, can we talk about our favorite black characters in pop culture? Because I just want to do a quick shout out for Raheem Rhodes.
Oh no. Oh no. We're not bringing that onto this show too. Jeez.
The black delegation is welcoming Cody Raheem Rhodes into the fold. The only blackish man ever to pin Brock Lesnar's fucking body to the mat is Cody Raheem Rhodes. And that, by the way, is how they are celebrating Black History Month in the WWE by having Cody Rhodes win the triple threat last night on SmackDown. Love
Cool.
it. Marco, do you want to name a black character?
Yeah, my
Are we doing
my number
3 and 2 or just
three?
Just
Sorry.
just
okay.
3? Yeah, just 3. Yes. Okay. My number 3 is Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. Big fan.
Delicious.
He is the Green
Not
Lantern
black.
that I grew up on. That is coming from the cartoon. And then when I was reading comics at the time, starting with weekly superheroes, that's where I started reading. I believe it was right after or right around DC Rebirth. But there was one in particular, Lost Army, John Stewart Green Lantern, that I absolutely adored. And from there, the character has been in and out in a number of Green Lantern books. And since we've been reading for the show, at Core or Green Lantern, anytime he shows up, there's an excitement there. I haven't kept up as much as I'd want with the Green Lantern space, but it is a character that very much, for me, I grew up on. So I'm a big fan.
I'll go with
choice.
I'll go with
Good
mine,
choice.
and mine's a little maybe not unexpected. Sean would expect this from me. And it's a character that one single run made me like this character, and that's Brother Voodoo. It was Rick Remender's Brother Voodoo run, where he's just facing off against Nightmare. That was a fantastic book, and that was around the time when Brother Voodoo became Sorcerer Supreme. So he was kind of like really shown to be a bigger, not threat, but he's like a bigger star in the universe. So since then, he's kind of been like almost like the number 2 to Doctor Strange if they need someone, that's a big magic dealer. And he's been the principal of the Strange Academy, stuff like that. So he's been an interesting role since, but I just really like the character. I think it's cool. So there's a dynamic with his brother who is just a ghost.
I'm with you. I love that shit. I thought that was awesome.
Who was
too.
the artist on that one, Sean? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I'm looking it up right now. Let's see.
Yeah. While you get that, my number 3 is Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Miles Morales, Spider-Man is the only character that exists in comics that I wish existed when I was a kid. Because if Miles existed when I was a kid, Miles Morales would be my Spider-Man. I love Peter to death. I'm not a Peter hater. I think Peter is great. I will always read Peter comics. But Miles is the character that I wish I had when I was a child, because I always loved Spider-Man, and I'm not trying to get into a bigger thing here, but like there's something about the fact that when the mask comes off, Miles looks like me, that resonates with me as an adult, and that I wish young people, like I'm grateful, glad that they have that now, that they have Miles, that they can grow up with this character. Brian Bendis and Sarah Pacelli did such an excellent job with him. I remember when he first came around, and I was worried, like, fuck, this is gonna suck and it's gonna be bad for us, right? But the way that Miles has exploded, has a movie, is so popular with kids. It warms my heart so much. Like, I love the fact that he has a connection with young people, and his costume is sick. His powers are sick. He's differentiated from Peter. I can't really argue with anything Marvel has done with Miles. They've done an excellent job. I just want more.
Ultimate Incursion, you can maybe argue against.
That was yeah.
I love to hear that, and like that's like dude, I'm a 40-year-old white guy from Connecticut, right? Like I've never had that that specific feeling, and I think it's anytime I hear anyone say that, right? Like the character looks like me, it resonates with me. That's something as an artist I try to personally keep in the back of my head now, because I think that's important. And I don't think for a while, I don't think that was something that I was considering, so that I love hearing people say that.
Man, more people need to think like you, brother.
Yeah,
for sure.
Agreed.
Oh, you agree? More people need to think like you?
Yeah. Especially about reboots. Especially about reboots. This is the Comics Pals screw job. That's what this is.
The fix is in.
Yeah. At least the ref didn't try to fuck on me this time. That's good.
Where's that referee?
I'm putting that in the chat.
Is that a referee? He was trying to fuck on me.
What?
Marco, you gotta watch that. Cody Raheem Rhodes telling a story from the olden days about a screwy referee. It's a great story. No Jim Lee watch this week. We're gonna skip that segment because there is a big rumor floating around, massive rumor, that the inevitable break glass if in trouble sealed button that Dan Buckley, Marvel president, has in his office, that big red button that he has, according to Bleeding Cool's Rich Johnson, that button has been pushed. And what is that button? It's the button that unlocks a Marvel X Star Wars crossover.
What?
The Patton Oswalt prophecy of his like cut filibuster from Parks and Rec is about to come through.
Now, everybody knows that Disney owns Star Wars properties, and they publish Star Wars comics at Marvel. We've all been asking, when are they going to do it? Remember when CB Cebulski said, the comic that's going to sell 1 million copies is coming. We've got the idea. I always felt like what he was talking about was this.
Yeah.
But they just didn't do it. And so now Rich Johnson suggests that at Comics Pro, which I believe is next week, there will be the announcement of a Marvel Star Wars Fantastic Four crossover written by Mark Miller.
Whoa.
Specifically Fantastic Four, you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, did you say Star Wars X Fantastic Four? Is that what you just said?
No, Marvel, just Marvel in general.
Okay. I don't know where I heard Fantastic Four then.
I think you're getting that from the article. It's got that image in it of the mock
Oh
cover.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm not the biggest Mark Millar guy anymore. It's just not my cup of tea. Did they he's very art dependent. The good thing is though, he gets really good artists on his books. So like that, I don't give him for. I don't I wouldn't give him flack for. But like in terms of the actual books, they've not really jived with me. And I don't know how you even tell this story for it to really make sense. I know the fan mock-up has Darth Vader and Doctor Doom together, which just feels like kid with toys. And I don't know how do you make that compelling is my question. So I don't know. Deadline did kind of put water, like Deadline chimed in about this too. And they put like a little cold water on it. So we'll see, but only got a week left.
Well, I hope they make it canon, like Galactus was the inspiration for the Death Star or something.
That's why they built it to get to him.
Can't ruin Star Wars anymore.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, go ahead, Marco.
No, you go.
I was just gonna make a quick point. Like, I agree with Tyler about Mark Millar. Like, I'm whatever. I think if you would have said Hickman, I think I would have been like, that's gonna be huge. Like, I feel like the Avengers X Aliens was like pretty well done. Like, I thought he did a really good job of weaving in those characters, the xenomorphs and stuff. Like, I think all that stuff was done really well. Like, him doing Star Wars Marvel would be out of control. Mark Millar, I'm like, okay. Like, it's probably going to be like Tyler said, just someone playing with their toys, like just smashing Luke Skywalker and Doctor Doom together. Like, I'm sure it'll be fun, but like ultimately, it might be pointless. You know what I mean? Which is, they don't care. They just want to sell issue number ones.
Yeah, they to that point on like the Alien crossovers. There's even one now by Frank Terry, Captain America and Alien, which they're out of place. They're a different continuity in the sense that the logic to get to that point has to make sense for both worlds. So I think this is going to be one of those out of pocket, out of mainline. There's no way they're gonna be able to intertwine that, and so for that as an experiment is fun because it's working for some of the other properties. I'm enjoying that. And so Mark Millar for me, actually, I dig some of the stuff that he puts out. I don't always continue with them, but it's not a dissuader for me. So for this and Odyssey, I'm kind of excited. I haven't kept up with only a few of the New Republic things that they've been putting out here or there, or the High Republic rather. And yeah, I'm in a place where the idea of the crossover is more exciting because it's Marvel crossing over than it is Star Wars is crossing over with Marvel, if that makes sense.
I just can't wait for to pull that Jar Jar Deadpool variant out of my blind bag.
Jeez.
God damn, that's awful. There was a point in my life where if we had been doing the show and I read that, I would have flipped out because that for me always felt like admitting defeat. Like, okay, we can't hack it without going to the Star Wars well. But I'm older now. I've seen a lot more in the comics space. I understand that those crossovers are really not that big of a deal. Like Godzilla is crossing over with Marvel right now. They've got Predator stuff like Marco was talking about. They just had a Justice League Kong Godzilla Part 2. What the fuck? So I'm not so sure that I think this is that big of a deal. Like in a negative sense. I'm not sure I think it's that big of a deal. If you told me that these characters were going to be like inserted into the Marvel universe as an ongoing involvement, I would reject that vehemently.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
But if we're just talking about a fun mini series like what they've been doing already, honestly, I don't see the harm.
Do you see
Yeah.
do you see it being a miniseries, or it could be like a one shot like the Spider-Man Superman things, where it's like a whole bunch of little stories? I don't know, Corsair teaming up with Han Solo, or stuff like that, like little short stories within these characters, like to team up characters essentially.
I guess my thought there is that like it works perfectly for the DC Marvel crossover because they have to share their toys. But
True.
since Marvel would just be able to do not whatever they wanted, but they have a lot more freedom, I wouldn't mind a mini, not an event like 12 issues, but even if it was a 3-5 issue little ditty that, oh Jesus, little story.
Hey, pause.
Wow.
Sorry,
Easy.
No Diddy?
Whoa.
no ditty, no doubt.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me walk that back. Just a short story,
Yeah,
right? That would be fun. That would mix these characters up together. It could get zany and weird. I'm in. Fuck it.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I think to that point, I wouldn't mind one or the other, Tyler. I think having that little anthology feel maybe feels lesser, but I also kind of don't want it to overstay its welcome with a like mini that even feels too long. I don't mind a one shot. Like you just read that Jar Jar Binks one shot.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had fun with it too
I,
for as one shot. Yeah.
I would prefer that. I think that's more inconsequential than me having to commit to, 3 issues, 5 issues or something.
Commitment
Uh,
issues.
Well, because that's money, dude. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be more willing to pay for the entry price of $6 for a one shot than I am, $4.99 for 3 or 5 issues.
We'll see. If this is real, guarantee you already know what the main topic for the show is next week.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't even want to like dive crazy into this. Go ahead.
What era of Star Wars do you think they do if they crossover?
Oh, come on. The
Yeah.
the
They're
central
gonna
one,
do
Luke,
the
Han,
original
Chewie.
trilogy.
They throw Mandalorian in there too, or I guess
Mm,
the Bubba mask face guy, Boba Fett, he could be in it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they did the prequels, because then we can get Colossus doing the fastball special with Yoda.
Oh yeah. I mean, he can
that's
still do it.
cool.
It just
He
it might
could
hurt
with
Yoda.
his poor
Yeah.
like broken body.
Yeah, he turns into a Force Ghost halfway through the air.
In the middle of it.
Yeah, he just drops. He just flops over. Yeah. I saw
Oh,
see
I
Scarlet
see.
Witch like accidentally flirting with C-3PO, thinking it was the Vision.
Oh dear.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Yeah.
I'd honestly love to see like a visual of like the Death Star over Marvel New York, right?
Oh,
Middle
that'd
of
be
the
pretty
day,
cool.
they're all
Yeah.
looking up. What's that? There's
That's
the Death
cool.
Star.
That's cool.
yo,
Yeah.
that's the money shot, Pete.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it.
Over the Baxter building. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Over Avengers Tower, bro.
man,
Ben
you know what it
Grimm's-
sounds like? Fortnite.
Yeah, it's it, man.
Sound
It's
like
Fortnite.
Fortnite?
Yeah. You get Ben Grimm walking down the street and he just looks up because people are running down the street in fear, and you just see the Death Star in the daytime.
You know who would love Star Wars crossover? Johnny Storm. All those hot aliens for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be looking at where's
That's a
Shakti?
fact.
Where's Shakti at?
Dr.
Ayla
Afra.
Ayla Sakura? No, he likes the the different types,
Oh. Fair enough. We will have the conversation more next week if it comes to that, but the biggest reason why I think this has the potential to be true is because it's the only time Mark Miller has shut his mouth. So the fact that he's
Oh.
not addressing this makes me feel like there's actually smoke to the fire. Anything he says is a lie. If he teases you about something related to Marvel and DC, it's not true. But the fact that he hasn't said anything about this makes me think this is really happening.
Can I say there's a new Rob Liefeld tweet about this exact thing?
Yeah, please.
He says, for all you out of the loop, Marvel has 100% taken full-on pitches about Star Wars Marvel team-ups. Full stop. This isn't happening in a vacuum. Stuff gets out. Star Wars 50th anniversary is next year. Track it. Snag is getting Lucasfilm to approve.
There you
The
go.
50th anniversary is a good
Yeah, that's a perfect
good
time
point.
to do
Yeah.
this.
I didn't even piece that up.
Hmm.
Well, we talked about a reboot earlier and the necessity of a reboot, and we focused on Spider-Man for a little bit of that conversation. Marvel, it's not that they agree with you that Spider-Man needs rebooted, but they definitely might agree with you that we need to go back in time, because Marvel has announced the Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Wow.
Granted, Brand New Day is the title of the upcoming Spider-Man movie from the MCU, but it's also the title of an era of Spider-Man in which I wouldn't say that people were overjoyed. There was a lot of anger coming off of One More Day, but in retrospect, I think people really appreciate the Brand New Day, big time era of Spider-Man comics and would very much like to go back there. So, Marvel is going back to the scene of the crime and they're bringing back Dan Slott to do it. A lot of people thought he was going to DC permanently. Clearly, that's not the case. Joining Dan Slott are Marcus Toe and Marcos Martin. They worked on the Spider-Man Brand New Day era. They're coming back. They're all coming back. Marvel called this Spider-Man's most celebrated modern era. They're using your dislike of the current Spider-Man era to draw you into buying this. Marvel has the best marketing department ever, except they're not good at selling comics. People don't read them. But anyway, we're getting this. 5/13 is the release. Do you guys care about a flashback to the Brand New Day era?
Nah, this
No.
made me feel like Unk. We're doing flashbacks to my era now. Jeez.
We're
damn.
washed, Tyler. We're
Yeah,
washed.
I was like the Claremont stuff I got. I wasn't alive then. So, but man, the slot stuff. Oof. Even like Mr. Negatives in the background too. And I don't want to be Mr. Negative about this, but it's fine. I don't. The thing that bothers me the most is this logo treatment. I think it looks so bad. But yeah, I'll probably read it. I like Slot Spider-Man. I'm just so, I don't know, not annoyed, but just like I'm tired of these in continuity, out of sync stories. I like continuity when things matter, and you can't really make things matter by retroactively fitting in there. I mean, it's a retcon, so they can't even do like full on retcons in this either. But I don't know.
I agree with what Common Sense is saying here. Marvel needs to stop relying on nostalgia. It's getting sad. I do feel like this has been sort of the MO is, hey, do you remember that series or that one run or that thing that, you at this point really, really enjoyed? And not to say that, either publisher doesn't do it, but I feel like Marvel's more heavy handed. And it's gotten to the point where because I'm less familiar with that era as a less informed Marvel reader, it's actually alienating. I don't know or have the hyper excitement around it. If there would be hyper excitement, wouldn't even know how to feel about it. And so for me, I'm more concerned and more curious about the new stuff that's going to happen, the new developments, the new Spider-Man pieces that are happening now, than I would be for going back to this and bringing up a writer like Dan Slott, who I only know because of some of the stuff we did in the book club, which presumably doesn't even touch this era. So, it's not appealing.
I don't need this. Love everybody involved. Think it's, they're all great. They did great work over a decade ago in this era, but it was over a decade ago. It's just called Brand New Day, the brand old day.
Is this
Come
a
on.
one shot? Is this a
No.
one shot story?
It's an ongoing. Dan
Oh,
Slott
jeez.
has been banging the drum that this is an ongoing. He wants people to know that it's not just going to be 5 issues. He talked about how much he loves Spider-Man, how important the character is to him, which obviously we all know. He's written more Spider-Man than anyone in history, I'm pretty sure. And he's going to write even more of it. I love when creators go back to the scene of the crime. Like, I like the idea that, Dan Slott has more to say. Let him say it. But let him say it in a modern context.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you could do both. You could like revisit themes and stuff in something new rather than like, let's go back to the time when I was doing this and just like like Tyler said, like just cram this into that continuity.
Yeah.
Like it's that's so clunky.
Yeah, go ahead.
Neo, the one says, "Stop using Dan Slott. I'm tired, boss. Put the fries in the bag." I would love Dan Slott and other things. When Dan Slott got to like actually try something new with a Silver Surfer, phenomenal
Silver
book.
Surfer's awesome.
He's Fantastic Four is underrated, I think. He's the ones that brought in the Things kids. So like I would like to see Dan Slott at Marvel. Maybe not at Spider-Man. There's a Spider-Man book that like because of the way it is in time can't really do anything important. It can say something important. It can't do anything important though.
And it's not like what JMS is doing now on Spider-Man Torn, where we're seeing, yes, he is flashing back, but he's flashing back to a time he didn't write. So he can add things, his flavor to that time period. We've already seen what Dan Slott has to say about this time period because he's the one who created the time period. The fuck more you got to say, dude?
Oh, it's more Carly Cooper though, so I'm in. Never mind.
Fair. We're not going to be able to talk about IDW today. We'll do that next week, but there's a lot going on with them. I do want to say, well, before I say what I was going to say, we owe Wheel Spin. We owe Wheel Spin. And then also, guys, when we get through the news, we're going to give away that Ignition Press starter pack. So when we get through the news, someone is going to be able to claim that award.
I got to highlight a book. So is any our guests, Pete and Matt, are there any comics that you've read recently that you really want to shout out?
I don't know what Matt reads. I would love to hear what Matt reads.
Oh my god, I'm like so behind. I was just telling a buddy of mine, my to read pile is out of control. But what I do keep up on right now, I mentioned it earlier, was Fractions Batman, dude. That's like for my Junji Ito heads out there, that's like the Enigma and Amagara Fault. Like that book was made for me. That book was made for me. Mad Fraction doing Batman, like unbelievable. That's my favorite thing going right now. I just got DC AEW #1. I'm
Okay,
excited
cool.
to jump into that. There's like it's so like it's just I don't know, man. That's just like so popcorn to me. Like it's just like it's just fun. Like watching John Moxley team up with Guy Gardner and Guy Gardner using the ring to wrap Moxley in barbed wire while Moxley elbow drops a dude. Like it's awesome. Like I'm so pumped for that.
It was cool.
I'm there for that day one. But yeah, Fractions Batman, unbelievable.
I'm with you there. That is they're cooking over there. It's a tremendous series. Let's get another Wheel Spin. Fuck it while we're at it. You guys having a good time? This has been a crazy show. So many people commenting. The comments have been insane. We got to over 100 likes while we're live. That's rare. Thank you so much for that. You guys are amazing today. Shout outs to you, the audience. Wow.
All right, I need another month and year.
Let's do. Well, Pete, you go. What's your birth date?
Or what's give me a month or year.
March 81.
March 81, 83, 80. It's a good year.
What's the title of this book again, Tyler?
This is a Marvel year-by-year visual history.
It's also called on the streets by a different name. How to understand all the continuity you need to know for the comics we're dropping next week.
Did you say March 81?
Edition 6. Yeah. March 81.
Oh, there's no March in here. I guess nothing really. Well, let's go with the nearest April.
Womp womp.
Yeah,
there was no March that year. That's why.
Yeah, it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
R.I.P. March.
I was all that happened.
It got retconned.
Yeah.
Actually, let's do January 81. That was when Daredevil 168 came out. So this is not like the Puma first appearance. This is a Elektra's first appearance. So that's that famous cover.
Major key.
Yeah, with Daredevil kind of like seeing Elektra jumping at him in it. Yeah, that stuff was just so good, man. Like how it also notes here, Elektra appeared in 2 major motion pictures. That she did.
Yeah. Wait, 2? Oh
It's,
yes.
now-
Yeah, her own.
These
right?
DK books,
Now
though,
three.
they kind of reprint them and never change the interiors. They just redesign things. So the text is almost a little out of date sometimes.
Because technically it's been 3.
It's 3 and a TV
Yeah,
show.
3 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. By the way, I don't know about you guys. I loved Electra on that show.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
the Netflix Electra? Yeah.
Hell
Bring her
yeah.
back.
Please bring her back. Please.
Okay, all right. Good.
Congratulations are in order. Huge shout out, not just to Matsumo and Pete Collins, who are here to talk about Summit Comics after they were trounced in the debate.
Browns, Sean?
No.
Wounded.
32 of the people that like this, that like the episode, didn't vote, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow.
That means
Those are-
you didn't convince them.
No.
That's exactly what
Neither
I
did
mean
you,
in actual
though.
politics.
Yeah. The largest voting party in the United States is non-voters.
Fair.
Um,
There.
You're
but
the reason we're stuck in this mess. I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to
Another
argue with you.
Yeah.
But there are congratulations in order to another one of our friends, and that is Adam Freeman, who is the mastermind alongside the incredible people who are working with him at Prana. Comics the Magazine has 100,000 orders from retailers. That's a beautiful thing. I can't wait for this. This is going to be incredible. We have known about Comics the Magazine for so long now.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's finally going to be out there in the wild in our hands. We got prototype copies from Adam Freeman. So we've got like a rare issue 0 that may be valuable one day. Who knows? This issue is going to feature Comics the Magazine issue number 1 is going to feature a deep dive into the process and the creation of Absolute Batman. Nick Dragata is going to be a part of it. Scott Snyder, the whole creative team. They've got that. Then they've also got Chew. The returning Chew series is coming back. It's going to be published within the pages of Comics the Magazine. This is going to be available in March. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I've been waiting for something like this to exist in our space since I started reading comics, because the heyday of this kind of thing was before I got into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
we need a
huge.
new wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the closest we're gonna get.
Yeah. Great design on this too. I think Rico Renzi is working on the design work for this.
It's gonna be rad to also just see, because you're right, like this kind of thing doesn't exist in the same way anymore, and so it'll be cool to see, for me, the interviews, like getting to see all of those, the artist creators. I have a few of those just talking about like Bernie writes in art, like how does he think about doing a line, something as simple as that, and the debut being Dragata on Batman. Hell yeah.
I'm just having a reaction to the fact that the Unstoppable Bar is here with us. Someone you will know if you watch Near Mint Condition. What's up? It's good to see you. I'm happy you're here. I didn't even know you watch us. Thank you for hanging out. I am so excited for Comics the Magazine.
Yeah.
Not just because Adam's our friend and I have a vested interest in the success of what he does, but because I think it's great for comics. Like, are you all getting it?
I have a vested interest in Comics the Magazine, because I know Adam, obviously, but I also know Gabe Yoakum, who is working with them. I know Meg Marsden, who's working with them. So
Yeah.
like these are people that I've worked with in some form or fashion in comics. So I'm like personally invested in this. I want them to succeed. I want my friends to succeed. So I'm on board. And again, like I loved Wizard growing up. Like I want more stuff like Wizard. Like I've always, like since Wizard went away, I felt like there was a hole there, and this could possibly fill that hole for us.
Did you work with Gabe at all at shoot, you mentioned it earlier.
Double Take?
Double Take?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah,
right.
him and I, like that's where we became friends. Like we traveled, we went to C2E2 together to promote Double Take, and yeah, we've remained friends ever since. So again, like I'm really closely invested in this because I always want him to do well. He's such a great guy. But then just that team in general is filled with great people, great creators. So it's gonna be awesome.
Not unlike Summit. Yeah. not unlike Summit. We will actually be reviewing the issue when it comes out. It's going to be not. I mean, it's not a comic in a traditional sense, but we
Yeah.
will definitely talk about it. We will definitely spotlight it when it drops, and I hope everybody goes to grab one. Issue 1 is going to be. I mean, I don't want to promote it as a like, oh, this is a collectible. Like, it's going to be a big deal historically speaking if this magazine gets off the ground in a major way. And if you want to be a part of history, go buy it. That's how it works. Let's spin the wheel again. We owe 2 more.
Oh shit. Revelation. Anyone got one?
So I think we've gotten a few from Pete.
Yeah.
Matt,
Yeah.
do you have a comics-based revelation that something about your experience with comics, that you think would be interesting for the people to hear? Like, for example, Tyler revealed that he's never read All-Star Superman, right? So like if you have something like that, anything that comes to mind for you.
All-Star Superman's surprising.
Every time I see it, every time when I go to work too, it's like on a shelf. I'm like, oh, it's right there.
Could one day.
I mean, I don't have anything that's like groundbreaking, but I will say that you guys mentioned it briefly before when you were talking about known marginalized creator Alan Moore. I own that like that box set of all his Swamp Thing work. I have not read it at all, and I hear about like the run with Batman that's like involved as like the seminal story in that. Haven't read it at all. I want to read it. I'll get to it, but I know I hear people talk about it, and again, I own it. Haven't read it.
As a new Saga of Swamp Thing reader myself, we only read it this year for the book club. That shit's good, dude.
I know. I hear about it all the time.
it's
You
good.
probably hear about All-Star Superman being like what it
I'm
is.
sure it's good.
And it's just like there's just my overall feeling about comics, about video games, all the stuff that we trade in is there's so much content. It's like it feels impossible. It feels impossible to keep up with everything. So again, my to be read pile is just out of control because it's like I prioritize and I deprioritize. And something like that is like I own that box set. I'll get to it eventually. Maybe I won't, but it's there. Like, so I have it and it's accessible to me. But I have to just deprioritize or prioritize it. So stuff like that, like there's stuff that I'll miss and just be like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Super Drop in the chat says it's solid.
On the Marco scale, or
yep.
Yeah, on my a little more than solid.
Speaking of things you miss, a lot of people missed out on the Orc #1. Brett Bean, this has been the most successful non-Big Two comic of the year. The biggest surprise hit. This is a book that has captured people's attention. It's captured their minds. Brett Bean doing the writing and art, joined by Jean-Francois Beaulieu, and he even did the colors, did Brett Bean. It's an adorable book. I love it so much. When I saw this cover, I was like, yeah, this is gonna hit. But this is an image book, and this is following in the footsteps of books like Beneath the Trees. That's not an image book, but it's an indie book. It's following in the footsteps of Beneath the Trees. It's following in the footsteps of Something is Killing the Children or Grimm. Like that kind of hot book that just is like, whoa, where the fuck did this come from? And everybody is now obsessed. This book is getting a second print run of about 25,000 orders, which is huge for an indie book. The first run, or rather, the second print is half of the Absolute Batman new printings.
Huh.
Oh wow!
I like how that's a measurement now.
That's crazy. Yeah, Absolute Batman. Where does that rank in the Absolute Batman scale?
Yeah.
Well, listen.
That's what the higher ups are asking, actually.
But you're absolutely right.
Was anybody else able to snag this or?
Marco, didn't you?
I didn't go to the
No,
store
okay. We
that
might have
week.
it in our like reviews.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Sean, you got the first issue, right?
Yeah.
I did see on eBay these things are going for like $200 first issue,
Yeah.
but don't do that. There's like a pump and dump thing going on with the first issues of comics right now. Like it was a sort of crisis events went up to like 200, then it's back down to like 50. So like be wary about that for speculators and stuff. But hey, good for them. Good for the team.
Yeah. Give it some time.
And it's organic. Tyler's right about speculators, but I do feel like there's a groundswell. And if if you're connected enough, if you ride the wave of comics conversation, you can see these things happening. The three of us watched it unfold live in real time with Beneath the Trees. Like we were literally at the place where it started at, which was New York Comic Con. So yeah, like don't go get the first print. Get the second print just so you can read it, just so you can enjoy it because it is good.
Tap into it digitally. That's where I have it. So
That's the next debate we're gonna do. Matt and Pete, where you at on that digital?
Oh, I mean, I love the convenience of digital, but I'm such a tactile person, and being a collector, I gotta own it. I gotta own it physically.
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
physical media forever. That's my argument.
Hell yeah.
I'm so on the go. I read digitally and collect physically. You know,
Yeah, I'm
like
with
the
you.
stuff I buy physically, I don't tend to open usually, but that also means I'm buying less physically. You know.
Pete, you draw. I feel like the last time you had come on, you were just getting back into the groove of like physical media drawing, like the actual
Yeah,
materials.
yeah. It's been an on and off thing. Trying to draw. Actually, just got like a whole set of pencils yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Trying to stay limber, I guess. Just because it's like drawing digitally and drawing on paper is not the same thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm trying to get back into that.
It's time for us to do a giveaway. We told you when the news was over, we'd give away a Ignition Press starter pack. Thank you so much to Ignition Press for giving us 3 starter packs to give away. This is every issue 1 of every Ignition book that released in 2025. What we need to do is we're going to get up a Q&A section in the live chat. You, the person who wants to win the prize pack, has to answer the Q&A, entering your username. That's all you have to do is put your username in the Q&A, and you will be entered to win an Ignition Press starter pack. I cannot fucking wait to get these into your hands because I know you're gonna love it. I know it. They make good books. We owe 1 more wheel spin, so why don't we get that off?
Sean, you want to lie to Marco?
It's one of my favorite things to do. I love lying to Marco. Andrew Dunson feels like I abuse Marco, but he doesn't realize that I love Marco.
And also,
I
he
saw
doesn't
that
realize
comment earlier.
Marco likes abuse.
Hey, whoa now, easy. Private
Marco's
matter.
one of my favorite living people. We're all friends. It's just we're doing
Living
a show,
people.
Yeah. I mean, if we're comparing him to dead people, like there's some fire dead people.
Bruce Willis in Sixth Sense.
I'm not as big a fan of the people that are left alive,
Yeah.
but like, Michael Jackson was a great guy. Malcolm X. Anyway, so
He was in those
all right.
files, but
Wait, who?
No, Michael Jackson.
He was in the files?
Took a little express flight. I think there's pictures of that. I could be wrong.
Well,
I mean, is
I
his
hope
state
you're
better?
lying to me.
I wouldn't lie about that. I could be wrong about it, but I wouldn't lie about it.
All right, so I got to lie to Marco. Cool. So here we go. Now, Spider-Man, we talked a lot about Spider-Man. Spider-Man, of course, has a long history in comics. There's a character in Spider-Man's history who has a history of concealing identity, having multiple identities. Of course, I am talking to you about the Hobgoblin. Multiple people have been the Hobgoblin underneath the mask. But did you read the comics where the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, was the Hobgoblin. There was a time when Norman was under the mask. He used a new identity because Peter was convinced that the Green Goblin was dead. But underneath the mask was his arch enemy, Norman.
So was Norman Hobgoblin?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, because Norman would only ever be Green Goblin. That's his MO, that's his jam, and he wants to beat Spider-Man as Green Goblin. That's his ego.
He's Spider-Man right now, and he was Iron Patriot a decade ago.
It was Gold Goblin. He was Red Goblin.
Yeah, are you sure?
I'm gonna stick to it.
All right, well, you're right. I mean,
Oh, yes.
You're right for the wrong reasons.
I would have loved it. I don't know.
It's pretty believing. I fell for it for a minute there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
The new segment's gonna be called "Lie to Pete" next.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I mean, yeah, let's do it. You're lying to all of the fans here by telling them that Marvel doesn't need a reboot.
Oof,
Wow.
Well, they believed me.
I'm not giving it up. Yeah,
They believed me.
They did. You're brainwashing them.
60% believe you, Sean.
60%.
That's a huge margin. And by the by, at what point does shared belief become fact?
That is some cult of personality bullshit right there.
I bet you Jared Leto has said those words before.
That does sound like something he would say on the intro to like a 30 Seconds to Mars album.
Yeah, as he gets 20-year-olds onto an island for private 30 Seconds to Mars acoustic set.
Well, I have no interest in 20-year-olds, but everybody else come to my island, please.
You got an island?
No, what? My metaphorical, like
okay,
hypothetical island, like that I would have to have fun with people who are.
I'd like to see the flight logs.
We need to get Sean. We need to get Sean's green screen working correctly. That would have been a great bit. Just flip right
back. Yeah. Swap over. In my kitchen island, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Guys, I have no island, please. Okay, I have no island. I haven't
You're
even
on the
been
island
an
of relevancy, Sean.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. There
also
you go.
known as Manhattan.
Yeah,
you're right. True. This is the center of Earth. I want to thank the rest of the people who make this possible. Here are the rest of the Patreon shoutouts. Thank you to Amin, the Almighty Perez, Houston, the Century Kid, Murphy, Young Dende, Fae Fighter, Dewooty, Cosmic November, Carter the Owl Shogun, and my dog. I feel like I'm getting so close with certain people in our community just off of the hangouts that we do. So yeah, there are just some of you who I feel like I talk to all the time. Steve Swarm Canaris, Scripture, the Wardens of the Word, Jack of Some Trades Cloutier, Christacure, Coleman, Emperor MD Johnny, Shalom, Paladin, Warburg. Wait, I shouted you out already. Well, you get another shout out. Screw it. You belong in the higher tier. Mad Max, Pliskin, Lieutenant Earl, Wagnus, the Death Dealer, Jack Grimmy, your origin is next, brother. Patrick Zay, thank you to Harris for resubscribing, and also huge shout out to Hyper Viper 89, aka my dude Justin, for getting back into the fold. Yeah. Thank you so much, brother. All of you are beautiful. Do we have enough?
We have entries? Enough. Yeah. Not as much as last time, but we have enough.
Anybody else?
I put out anybody else again. So
last call.
Should we do the GOAT game and then
fuck it. Yeah, we'll do the GOAT game and then we'll do the giveaway.
Okay.
So everyone that's on the panel right now is eligible to be entered into the GOAT game. The way this works, and we're going to play GOAT, not woke.
Pete is going immediately.
Some amount of us will be entered into the game, and our responsibility is to explain to the audience why the character chosen by the randomizer is the greatest character of all time. That's it. That's all you have to do. And you'll have 45 seconds to do it.
Gentlemen, after my awesome performance the last time we did that, I'm going to have to abstain from this and defer to my word guy colleague, Mr. Matthew J.
Oh,
Sumo.
great.
All right.
Well, he's in it. He's in it.
He's representing us. I can only look like an ass once every 6 months on that game.
I'm prepared to look like an ass all the time, so let's do it.
Very much a writer thing to say, by the way.
All right, who's gonna be saying it? Who's gonna be doing it? Let's see. I don't have a visual for this. I forgot to make it set it up for the. Well, Matt, you're safe. It's a Comics Pals trio here.
Oh
Whoa,
my
no
God!
way.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
Has that ever even happened?
I don't think we've ever gotten all three of us.
I'm
before.
I don't
sure
think so.
once.
If it has, I don't remember it. That's crazy.
We do have to close the Q&A before we can get up the poll. So
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Well,
do
then
we?
we.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and end that, and then
Should I draw now or just wait?
wait, yeah, we'll play the game first.
All right. What character do Marco, Sean, and I have to debate about? Another debate here. It's rolling. It's rolling.
Can't wait.
Hell yeah. Nico Minoru.
Damn, that's a good choice. Shit.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get Mudbug.
Matt, hit on the rope. On the rope.
I would like to go first.
Okay, Sean, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Nico Minoru is the greatest magic user of all time in Marvel Comics. Nico Minoru has something that most other magic users, no other magic user has access to. Her blood weapon. She uses it to stick herself. She self-harms in order to activate her powers, and her powers are colossal. Nico Minoru, by the way, also, I have to throw this out there. Goth, alt, probably the premier goth alt baddie that exists in Marvel. Okay. Her power set requires sacrifice. She sacrifices her blood. Time.
Marco, you can go.
She sacrifices at her blood in order to enact magic. That is the perfect level of equivalent exchange. We all know this idea from general understanding of alchemy and magic based powers, and so that in and of itself meeting and exceeding the expectations of what a this kind of magic power trope would be makes her the GOAT. Not only that, Japanese American, let's go. Shout out to diversity. Okay, that's the kind of thing that we need in Marvel. Again, the GOAT, to be able to represent, see yourself in on the pages. And I think I'm gonna double down on the goth baddie. That's
All
it.
right.
Marco sees himself in a goth baddie.
Hey now, Japanese goth baddie.
This is gonna be an easy one for me. All right, guys, set me up. All right. It's great to see that Sean and Marco are fake fans because she doesn't need the blood oath anymore. Not even thinking in her power set. She's gotten past that. She's learned that she actually never needed it in the first place. Nico Minoru is emblematic of some of the great stuff in modern Marvel comics. That's being a legacy character, but legacy in the sense that her parents were villains, and she was able to kind of overcome that as a hero. She has found family, which is a big thing in Marvel comics, especially with the young heroes, with joining the Runaways, which I don't even think you guys mentioned the Runaways in any of your discussions.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And also a queer character. Her and Carolina Dean are a couple. So you guys barking up the wrong tree on that one. I just think she's great. She was even prominent in non-comic book media with Midnight Suns. She was a big character in that.
Don't assume her sexuality. We might not be barking up the wrong tree. Shit.
Canonically, you are.
Listen,
For
listen,
now.
man.
For now.
Times change, people change. Who sold you on Nico Minoru being the greatest of all time? Was it Marco, aka ChatGPT?
Whoa, hey, whoa! I did nothing of the sort.
No,
I know.
He used Gemini.
Was it Moi, or was it Tyler? Make sure you guys get your vote on. While that runs, let's figure out who won the Ignition Press starter pack.
Let's go. All right. Let me see if anyone else added their names. No, we're good. Okay, cool. All right. Here we go. And I'm going to spin.
Good luck. Good luck, everyone.
Roll.
Our winner Jet X.
Oh,
Hey.
sick. I love that for you, dude. Jet X. Congratulations, Jet. Messaged me on Discord with your all the info. Someone would need to send you something, and we'll get that to you, man. Congratulations. Love it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Matt and Pete, who do you think won the debate or the GOAT game?
The debate. Yeah, they have a choice on the debate.
I mean, I'll say right off the bat, Tyler won for me just for talking about the Runaways, because the Runaways is
kind
an
of a key part.
incredible, like that first run, BKV's first run on that is incredible. Like one of my favorite books of all time, like easily probably in top 10 for me, because I love Brian K. Vaughan so much.
Yeah.
But like just the mention of Runaways alone, that seals it for me, because that you got to put respect on that book and that group of characters.
Tyler made me feel like I felt after the last time I played this with you guys, but for you too. That makes sense. So Tyler won.
Okay. Well, Chad agrees. And this is the most shocking result of the day. I don't fucking get this. Tyler won 56%. That makes sense. Tyler had a great pitch.
Landslide.
What I don't get is how Marco's ass got 24% of what did he say? How was I lower than nobody? You people have told me now today what you really think of me. You think that I am less than no one.
Wow. In February, no less.
4%.
In February.
Wow.
In fucking February, that's how you do me, chat?
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's how you do me raw like that?
As an ally, Sean, I'm going to give my victory to you.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I just want to make sure I'm understanding you, Sean. Are you saying that the polls don't matter?
I'm saying that the people going to the polls might have a certain bias. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Interesting.
what I might be talking about.
We might
It's a little-
agree.
It's a little
might
late in
agree
the
with
show.
Chris Covers Comics said voted for Marco because of the Cosby sweater.
Oh,
That's crazy.
it's
It's not a koozie sweater, right?
Dude, it's giving Cosby? Nah,
Oh,
dude.
my
It is
goodness.
a little bit.
It's a little
Oh,
Cosby.
no.
It's a little
not,
Cosby.
Not even what's his name? From the neighborhood?
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
He didn't have that kind of sweater on.
He was a plain
Solid
cardigan kind of
colors.
guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, Ivy! What homophobic comment? I didn't say anything homophobic.
Uh-oh.
Jesus Christ! What did I say? I don't think I was homophobic. I don't have any problem with that aspect of Nico Minoru's character.
The only problem you have an aspect of this is that you lost.
Actually, I'm not even bothered by that because you really did your thing. I
she's
just
one of my
don't
favorite
understand how I lost to Marco.
I did my thing.
You
Dude.
lost
I
to
Do
did
your
it
nobody.
right
fucking
after.
thing. You didn't do your damn thing.
Right after.
But on
No,
the
you
he just said Marco Huxtable. He's about to give birth to a giant sandwich.
Oh my goodness gracious, that's funny. Matt and Pete, you guys have been incredible guests. Thank you for sticking out the marathon that is this show, and being really good sports in the debate. That was fantastic. It was so fun. Pete, thank you for having the idea and presenting it to us. I'm glad we got to do this. To be honest to the audience, these guys would have been here either way because we want to support what they're doing. We want to support Summit Comics. The Summit Pinnacle Kickstarter is up right now. Just because it's funded doesn't mean that you don't jump on and support it because you're helping us unlock additional goodies. There are goals to hit, just like there are goals on this live chat. We smashed that, so let's help them smash their goals and get a copy of Summit Pinnacle in your hands when it drops. Anything you guys want to plug and any thoughts you want to leave us with?
Pete, you can go ahead.
No, I appreciate always being on here. It's always a fun time. And I participated with the chat a little bit here too, which I don't normally do. That was awesome. So thanks for everything you guys do for us and helping us promote everything. And we'll be back soon.
Yeah, for me, I mean, support everything that the Comics Pals do. Support everything that Pete does. I mean, you could follow me on social media, but I'm pretty washed at this point. And yeah, just thank you guys. Like I mean it every time I say it. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You're such great supporters of not even just, you know, comics in general, but indie comics creators. I appreciate it. I know the chat appreciates it. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, just thank you. Like it's always an honor to hang out and talk shop with like-minded people, and you guys are the best to do it.
Thank you. That means a lot. Where can people find you guys on social? Keep up with you.
I try to hide from social these days.
Fair.
But it's at Pack Illustration on Facebook, Instagram. I'm still on other places, but those are the only two that really matter these days.
The hub.
Yeah.
I'm
hub.
Matt Man Begins. Wait, which hub are you talking about, Sean?
Don't worry,
Can you
no, let's not get
explain?
into it.
You know the
Yeah.
hub.
Hold on, do you have that sound drop, Tyler? Do you have the drums?
Oh, I don't. I
Oh,
don't.
that'd
But
be
that is a
good.
good
Yeah,
thing
that's a
to
right
add.
idea.
Add
That's
that-
the writer.
That's gonna get
Add
people.
that
That's
to
gonna be
your-
people like when like friggin' people are gonna hear that coming from another room. Be like, what do you?
Yeah, he's firing up
Dude,
the. firing
Dude,
up the hub.
imagine fucking Mrs. Hound, bro. Imagine.
Imagine she knows what it is. She's like, hey,
That's
wait
the
a
thing, though.
second.
You can't like if you react, then it's like a self-report. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
Yeah, just Matt Man Begins pretty much everywhere. Everywhere there's a social media, I'm there. Not the hub though.
He's
You won't
got a
find me
burner
there
for that
all
one.
those comments. Yeah,
It is
I got a
social.
burner account for that.
It is social. Marco's very social on the hub. As for us, of course, we will be with you Monday at 1 p.m. for PALS previews. Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for PALS pulls, and then before you know it, we're right back here with another episode of the Comics Pals. And I am very happy to say, I'm going to say it, fuck it. Next week on this show will be joining us none other than the upcoming writer of Daredevil.
Bum, bum, bum.
Stephanie Phillips is coming on with us for the first time ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's
Don't miss it.
go.
She's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be on TikTok too.
Hey, she's big there.
I'm dying to be on TikTok. No, I'm not. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.